Time for exciting high school football on Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI, your local station providing you with free coverage for nearly 50 years. Now, let's go to the field for tonight's broadcast.
Good evening and welcome to the Dog Pound at Batesville High School for the lid lifter of the 2025 high school football season. It is the Batesville Bulldogs against the Triton Central Tigers. Tonight's game is brought to you by Whitewater Motors, Hurt and Elko, the Ripley County Community Foundation, Batesville Dental, Decatur County Memorial Hospital, Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Bruns Gutzwiller, Ivy Tech Community College, Gehrings, Vagley Napa Auto, Ison's Family Pizza, Margaret Mary Health, Fleetwood Chevrolet, Great Plains Communications, and Assured Partners Insurance. Hello, everybody, and I'm Tom Snape, along with Rob LaFerry, as we get ready for tonight's contest between the Batesville Bulldogs. 9-4 a year ago, and of course a berth in the semi-state for the first time in 38 years. The Triton Central Tigers 9-3 last year and losing in the sectional final to LaPel. And Rob, great night for football, and no better place to be than at the old ball yard.
Yeah, absolutely, and certainly much better weather conditions than what these teams had for scrimmages back last Saturday, or rather Friday, underneath that sweltering heat. But here we are for week one of the regular season. Two teams that had extremely successful seasons a year ago, but coming in, both teams, a much different look than 2024. We'll talk about that throughout the night. So there's going to be some voids to fill, some new names we'll throw out there tonight, but nonetheless, it's two ranked teams in the preseason. Should be a fun one, the Dog Pound.
No question. Of course, the Tigers are coached by Tim Abel. He's in his 32nd year overall, a Hall of Fame coach at that. And he is 110-40 in his 13th year at Triton Central. And, of course, he won a state championship for a state final back in 2000 at East Noble. He's had stops as well as North Davies, also Decatur Central, New Palestine. And he's been at Triton Central since 2013 after sitting out the 2012 season. And Evan Ulrey in his 10th year as the head coach of the Batesville Bulldogs with a record of 61-42. But should be a good one. Of course, Batesville winning last year's game up at Triton Central up in Fairland in Shelby County 21-14. So looking forward to another competitive game. As Rob mentioned, a lot of new faces and new places and things of that nature. Triton Central now in the Hoosier Legends Conference as they left their previous conference and joining us new league along with Beech Grove, Monrovia, and Speedway, Indian Creek, and Tri-West. Of course, a team that took on Batesville in the regional last year. And then Shelbyville and Greenwood will join the conference next year. So lots of things going on, but before we get rolling too far, we want to get into listen to the comments of Batesville coach Evan Ulrey. He was a guest on Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza Monday night and hosted by the man off to my right, Rob LaFerry. And we're going to go ahead and take a timeout and listen to the comments of Coach Ulrey of Batesville. It's coming up right after this on high school football on WRBIRadio.com and the WRBI app and WRBI TV.
In case you hadn't heard, Scripture Auto in Greensburg is now a part of Whitewater Motors.
If you have an issue down the road, you can call Jamie Scripture or Dave Scripture. Try that at some of the bigger places. It's just customer service. We've been taking care of people for a decade. That's our biggest thing. We treat them like family, always have. Rest assured, Dave Scripture and myself, Jamie Scripture, are still here running the business. So that's the big thing.
Visit them online at whitewatergreensburg.com.
When looking for the highest standard of HVAC service and care, turn to Hurt and Elko, your local Lennox Premier dealer. Hurt and Elko and their Premier dealer status means you're certain to be working with a company who has the highest level of training, professionalism, and customer satisfaction. For a limited time, they're offering up to $1,900 in rebates on a brand new Lennox system or finance with low monthly payments. Call Hurt and Elko today at 812-934-4646 or visit them online at hurt-elko.com to learn more. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
And welcome back to WRBI's countdown to kick off week one of the high school football season as we get set for Triton Central at Batesville this evening. Going to go back to this past Monday night season premiere of Coach's Corner to hear comments from Batesville head coach Evan Ulrey about his upcoming 2025 season. Talking to Batesville head coach Evan Ulrey here today as part of our high school season preview on Coach's Corner. Defensively, there's some really good bright spots for you coming back. You know, you look at a guy like Sebastian Hall with 47 tackles, Dylan Shane in there with 50 tackles, plenty of experience coming back, and that's going to be a nice little group for you to build off of.
It is, and I think our biggest question was going to be the trenches, but as you mentioned, Bryson Hageman, Dylan Shane, Sebastian Hall, 3 guys that are going to play more right there in the middle at a linebacker position. Really promising. Senior in Aiden Grivey has had a really good offseason and so far start. Ethan Schneider. A lot of experience at corner, really putting a lot of trust in him. He just looks so much better now and more confident and comfortable for us. The biggest question, like I said, is going to come back to the trenches. And, we lost a guy last year, middle of the season, after the East Central game in Lance Weiler, who's now a junior. He would have been a force for us down the stretch last year. A lot of people, we got some guys back. We also lost some guys,
right.
And to have him back, he's going to make a big difference. Camden Kaiser, who obviously was the freshman phenom that played left tackles for us last year, is also going to be playing both sides for us. He's a big dude, and he's going to demand a lot of double teams. So I think that's going to help solidify. It's just developing the depth and developing those guys around that. And I've been really pleased as we speak defensively with those guys. Trenton Jordan, his seasons have been cut short. He's another senior the last 2 years. He's a both-way guy, receiver, safety. I'm just going to tell you, you're going to say his name a lot. You're going to say his name a lot. You're going to be, where has this guy been? Well, he's been hurt, and if, he would have been a starter. He was a starter for us early last year. The season just got cut short. He's going to be a big-time player for us. And, and then I've Friday night, I thought it was a really good night for Preston Blessing. He did not start in there, but he came in for a few reps, and I thought he played really, really well, for us. And as we're talking guys to get in the trenches. So, Caden Vogelsang has played linebacker for us. Can play up on the edge. He's kind of that hybrid player, long, athletic. We're probably going to say his name a lot. He's going to be a guy that's really helped. So we got some pieces, some young pieces. I really love Max Meyer on the back end at safety. He can play as a linebacker, play as a safety in the coverage. Really like what we are seeing right now defensively and just collectively with the group. Again, sprinkling a lot of sophomores, juniors, and some in experience. But, again, as I continue to tell myself and our coaches, hey, have patience. Let's continue with the process, and we'll be fine because this group is hungry and eager to do just that.
On offense, there's obviously going to be question marks about the quarterback position. There will be question marks on the wide receiver spot. I think that's where that sophomore, junior class will be really beneficial for you. You do have a nice little bright spot in the backfield with Zayden Small coming back to play tailback.
Yeah, he was a lightning last year. Now, his ankle really cut him. It just really hurt him last year. He just never really was able to overcome that. And I think but he's put on some size. He's definitely got faster, and he's shifty. And he's one guy that if we can get things taken care of consistently up front, and you can get him in space and you can get him going, he's electric. On Friday, we didn't get many opportunities. East Central up front really, I think, kind of handled us up front pretty well. But I do anticipate Zayden's going to have a big year for us, and really, I think, help the quarterback situation. When you can just hand the ball off to 22, that's a good thing. I'm a big Cowboys fan. I was like handing it off to Emmett Smith right back in the day for Troy Aikman. So kind of what we're hoping. Yep. It's like, hey, get the ball to 22. Trenton Jordan out at receiver. Rylan Yeager, Jackson Elston, who's a promising big target outside for us as well.
You can't miss him out there.
You can't. And he makes some catches. I'm like, what the heck just happened? I'm speaking of Jackson Elston. So he's got a lot of promise too. And again, the biggest question, again, I just say, is just going to be in the trenches. We're replacing 4 out of 5 starters, but I have a lot of trust in Tim Bellmer, our offensive line coach in OC this year, that they'll get it right, and he's going to coach them up. And that's going to be a group that's going to be solidified as time goes, and he'll get the best out of them. And if that's our biggest question, then I think we'll be in good hands.
I almost even like to mention this guy because I feel like he's been there forever for you guys, but returning special teams, you got a pretty good boot back there with Brady.
Yeah, we do. Brady is near automatic, and I say this, going back to the regional game last year, a lot of people forget we had the winning touchdown, but we didn't need a touchdown. We just needed a field goal, and we were on the left. We were in really good position, near automatic, and you can go back. And obviously, Will throws the ball. We get a touchdown from Damian Dance, but if we don't convert there, we're going to kick the ball and kick the field goal. And I always tell people, I know Brady's going to make it. Brady's near automatic. You're just more worried about the snap and the hold, right?
Yep.
You're more worried. If we can get the snap and get the hold, we'll be all right.
I'm a Bengals fan, trust me.
Yeah.
I hold my breath quite often when that happens.
But no, Brady is a weapon, and our hope is, seeing. And I told him, hey, the goal this offseason is you better be putting the ball in the end zone and getting some touchbacks. So the nice thing in high school, the ball gets in the end zone, it's an automatic touchback, and it's a great weapon. So. We'll see. Hopefully that's more of a consistency this year. That'd be great that he can drive that ball hopefully into the end zone and take some stress off the kickoff, because that's a big win for us. But no, Brady, he's been kicking for us, and he's already the all-time scoring and kicking leader, in all time, and he's going to crush that and set the bar pretty high when it's all said and done.
Got a chance to scrimmage East Central this past Friday, a really warm Friday night for high school football scrimmages. The weather looks much better for this Friday night, plus you guys are going to be at home taking on Triton Central, a non-conference opponent for you guys that you've added to that schedule, and they're a formidable foe down in Class 2A. It's a good challenge for you guys on week 1.
It is, and last year was a really good game. We've had a history with Triton Central. They used to be our week 0 scrimmage before we went into this conference ordeal. We used to scrimmage them also sometimes in the summer. So I've got to know some of their coaches, and then obviously Tim Abel, who's a Hall of Fame coach, and has done a really great job. It is a great program, and when we had the opportunity to add this was like a no-brainer. As like tell Mr. Helvey, I said this like last year, hey, we got to get them on, because this is going to be a great week 1 game. Like, I want games that bring excitement and bring people in. You see it as a business, but also to make us better. It's kind of like last week. I wanted to scrimmage East Central just because I wanted to get a pretty good sense of, like, where are we at? Because they're the best team in the conference, and arguably, 5A state, championship favorites. So if we can somewhat compete and do some things well with them, then I think we'll be okay. And it's the same thing here with Triton Central. You're not going to get a false you're going to get a pretty good feel of like where you're at. Like, if we could go in and win this game and get to 1-0, then you got to feel good. Then you got to turn right back around and play a really good Milan team. But that's the thing. It's like those are our 2 non-conference games. Rob, it's like Triton Central is really good 2A, and Milan, that's like that's a big time rivalry game. So I always like the beginning of the year and non-conference, and it's nice to have that, and I'll be excited for the game and the challenge in front of us.
Those were comments from Batesville head coach Evan Ulrey as part of our WRBI countdown to kickoff. We'll return with more coverage for you here on WRBIRadio.com, the WRBI app, and WRBI TV.
The Batesville and Milan varsity football teams are joining forces to turn over hunger this football season. All donations will be granted to the Weekend Backsack program, which sends a backpack of food home with hungry students in Ripley County schools. Help turn over hunger and send your donation to the Ripley County Community Foundation, 13 East George Street, Suite B, Batesville, or donate online at rccfonline.org. That's rccfonline.org.
You only have one smile. Make yours the best it can be with Batesville Dental. For over 40 years, Batesville Dental's provided the latest technology in their state-of-the-art facility. They strive to make your visit a pleasure. Doctors Broughton, Liedermeyer, and Roberts and their staff offer preventative care, Invisalign, implants, extractions, and cleanings to keep your mouth healthy and your smile beautiful. Batesville Dental, 391 Northside Drive, Batesville. You only have one smile. Make yours the best it can be. Batesville Dental.
Your free source for local sports. WRBI.
Countdown to kickoff rolls on. Both teams on the field as we get ready for tonight's game and other games around the area tonight. You got East Central, number 5 in Class 5A in preseason Indiana Football Coaches Association poll against the number 4 team in 3A, the Lawrenceburg Tigers. That's part of the Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown. That game can be heard on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app. Your congenial announcers for that game are Rob Moorhead and Brad Fentress. Also, South Decatur at North Decatur in the Civil War game. the Chargers of Steve Stern, number 4 in Class 1A preseason. Of course, that is also a Mid-Indiana Football Conference game as that conference reforms. Rushville under former South Decatur coach Rick Zimmerman. He makes his debut at Milan. The Indians of Brian Lankfordman, number 7 in 1A. The Isaac Sliger era begins at Greensburg as they host the Shelbyville Golden Bears. Franklin County is at Newcastle, South Dearborn at Jennings County, and Connorsville at Richmond. And we look to get some scoring updates for you throughout the evening. Of course, we'll have them on our website on WRBIRadio.com and also run down during the local sports report tomorrow. So both teams are out on the field. Triton Central with the white helmets, the white jerseys and green pants, and the Batesville Bulldogs in their home royal blue uniforms with the white pants and white helmets as we get ready for the national anthem. And right after this, it will be kickoff, Batesville and Triton Central at the Dog Pound on WRBIRadio.com and the WRBI app and WRBI TV.
Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep is a proud sponsor of local athletics. I'm Michelle Galk, and at Batesville Chrysler, we value this community and the relationships we've built with our customers. As your hometown car dealer, we understand the importance of staying connected to the community. We commend all our student athletes and their hard work and dedication. That's why we're proud to sponsor local sports coverage so that fans can stay connected no matter where we are. Remember, you can buy a car anywhere, but when you buy at Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, we can all work together to support the future of this great community.
Do you have joint pain? Joint pain doesn't have to be a part of aging. Adults with knee, hip, or shoulder pain can register now to get a free X-ray and attend a free screening and education program at Decatur County Memorial Hospital. Learn from orthopedic surgeons about non-surgical and surgical treatments that provide relief. To register, call 812-663-1279 or visit dcmh.net/events today.
Hey football fans! While Ivy Tech Community College doesn't have a football team, what it does have is your play to a great future. Earn a short-term certificate to quickly get into a high-wage, high-demand career. Earn your associate degree in a wide variety of programs for a more affordable transfer to a bachelor's degree. Classes are offered in person and online at the Lawrenceburg and Batesville locations. For more information, email r11express@ivytech.edu.
Simmer and sear with confidence using a Maytag freestanding electric range with 5 elements, including a 9-inch and 6-inch dual choice element, variable broil, and warming center. You can knock out mealtime in no time. The steam clean cycle and fingerprint resistant stainless steel finish makes it easy to keep clean inside and out. Shop Garings today. Garings and Maytag, 316 North Main, Batesville.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
And welcome back to the Dog Pound as we get ready for the season opener between the Triton Central Tigers out of Fairland, just barely in Shelby County, and the Batesville Bulldogs as captains from both teams meet at midfield. And, Rob, excellent crowd here for week one.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, you got to take advantage of the perfect weather for week one of the high school football season, and fans have been filtering in since about 5:45, 6 o'clock tonight. Triton Central with a really good crowd here to come down from Shelby County and support. And across the way, of course, you've got Bulldog Nation alive and well in the stands, pretty much just about as packed as it was when we last were here back in the regional championship game in 2024.
Indeed it was. And as we see the coin flip at midfield, the Triton Central Tigers won the toss. They have elected to receive, and Triton Central will be going from left to right as we're looking at things here, or is that would be more specifically toward I-74 as we get ready for tonight's contest. The officials for tonight's game are John Fromm, Coy Bateman, Keith Crittenden, Lucas Gutskill, and Norman Bogus. So getting ready for do battle here. These two teams met last year, and they will be meeting again next year. And going to keep Batesville and Triton Central will stay opponents next season.
Yeah, it's like Coach Ulrich said on Coach's Corner on Monday night. It's a really nice non-conference edition here for Batesville because not only is this a really good 2A program, but they have a lot of similarities to some teams that Batesville will see in the EIAC. So you've got Triton Central at home tonight. You've got Milan at home coming up next week, and then the EIAC slate. Perfect preparation for Batesville in 2025.
And back deep for the Tigers will be Braden Whitlow and Zeke Robertson as Bray Winnell gets ready to boot the ball. Again, Batesville will be defending the goalpost off to our right, which is the I-74 end here at the Dog Pound. So hard to believe it. It's already a high school football season, and what do you say we play some ball?
Let's play some football, and we are underneath the Friday night lights, and a guy that we talked about with Coach Ulrey, Brady Winnell, will kick this one away for Batesville. 12 minutes of Indiana high school football are on the clock, and without further ado, the play-by-play call for tonight. Here's Tom Snape.
Thank you, Rob LaFerry. And so Bray Winnell getting ready to do a little stretching and waiting for the official signal, and winds that leg up. And looks like we're about ready to get things underway here at the Dog Pound. Winnell advances on the ball, boots it deep, and it's caught at the 5-yard line. Goes up the middle to the 15, the 20, 25, 30. Breaks a tackle, bounces it right to the numbers, and finally is brought down is the return man. That is Braden Whitlow, a 5'7", 130-pound senior. And Rylan Yeager coming in on the tackle, and it's got a good return, Rob, for the Triton Central Tigers out to the 32-yard line in TC territory.
Batesville defense coming out for the first time this season. This will be a group that they will have to rely on quite a bit, especially early on in the year as you're trying to find some new faces on offense. A lot of guys back on defense. Can they hold Triton Central here on the first series?
And as the new quarterback, Matthew Wilkins, this is his first time starting at the varsity level. He is a junior, 6 foot, 170 pounds. And we had movement on the up front. And it's going to be offsides. It's going to be whistled. Let's see if it was Batesville was drawn off. So just like that, the Bulldogs penalized. Not the way you want to start things, as that takes the ball out to the 37-yard line.
No, it looked like someone there on the far side on the line jumped off. That very well could have been Camden Kaiser, the sophomore.
So back in the shotgun is Wilkins, and hands the ball off, bounces it to the outside, goes right side with it, coming to the near side, and getting a first down on the easy with the gift 5 yards is Braden Brown, a 6'2", 190-pound senior running back. And Brown last season with 11 touchdowns for the Triton Central Tigers and averaged about 8.9 a carry.
Yeah, he was their guy coming back this year. That's going to be their main returner on offense. As Tom already said, lost your quarterback from a year ago, so expect Brown to get a heavy workload here in week 1.
1st and 10, Triton Central at their own 45-yard line. Operating out of the shotgun with a running back to his left hip is Matthew Wilkins. Claps his hands and hands it off to Brown. Brown gets it back to the line of scrimmage, and a second effort breaks a tackle and finally taken down at the 48-yard line. Still in Triton Central territory, but a pretty good run there with the way it first it clogged up, but Brown able to break a tackle and get it out to the 49-yard line.
Yeah, it looked like Bryson Hageman had him wrapped up momentarily before he was able to break free. Picks up 4 on that one, so we'll call it 2nd down and 6.
10:40 and counting here in the opening period. No score. However, Triton Central with the ball at their own 49-yard line. And operating once again out of the shotgun is Matthew Wilkins. He has a running back to his right hip and dumps it off on a little pitchback to Braden Whitlow. He bounces it to the right side, bounces it outside the numbers, inside the 30, and gets it inside to the, going to be knocked out at the 30-yard line is where they're going to mark him down. But nice little trickery there, if you will, a little dump, like a touch pass in basketball, and Brown able to bounce it outside and get it to the Batesville Bulldog 30-yard line.
One thing I've already kind of noticed here tonight, offensive line for Triton Central, pretty big for a 2A program. Outside of Kaiser, Batesville just looking a little thin right now, but there's a couple of adjustments they will need to make with some graduation because of seniors gone from that defense a year ago.
Yeah, just 3 returning starters on that Batesville offensive unit. Wilkins out of the shotgun, claps his hands, hands it off to Brown. Brown goes right up the middle and finally gets it across the 25, and they're going to mark him down at the 23-yard line. Sebastian Hall in on the tackle for Batesville. So another big gain there by Brown. And tell you what, Rob, Triton Central is absolutely gashing the Batesville defense right now.
Yeah, they are. They've got that offensive line just creating hole after hole. They've got those running backs being able to go through, and when you do that, you're going to wear out this defense even more, allow your offense to stay out, and you're controlling clock time too.
Yeah, Triton Central, every play on the ground to this point. Wilkins out of the shotgun with a running back on his left hip. Now he'll send a man in motion, and we'll hand it off to that running back, and going straight up the middle and finally bouncing it inside. That is Bo West, and West gets it inside the 20. They're going to mark him down at the 18-yard line, and another first down for the Triton Central Tigers.
You've already racked up nearly a handful of first downs, and you're not even 3 minutes into this football game. You know, Batesville's had a couple guys able to get back, but that burst of speed from the backfield is just really throwing this defense off.
So the Tigers break the huddle. They'll send twins to the near side, one receiver to the far side. Wilkins, junior quarterback, operating out of the shotgun, has Bo West to his hip and hands it off to West. He bounces it to the right side, and he's going to lose the yard and drop down at the 20-yard line. With the initial contact is Sebastian Hall. Also, Lance Weiler getting in on the action as well, so a loss of 2 on the play.
Sebastian Hall is going to be one of your seniors. It's not the biggest senior group this year for Batesville, but he's a guy who does have some experience, a guy who had almost 50 tackles a year ago, so he's going to be an awfully big piece, especially here to get this season going.
So 2nd and 12 for Triton Central at the Batesville 20-yard line. 8.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. No score. However, Triton Central in scoring position. They send twins to the far side. One to the near side. Send a man in motion. Now a little bit of confusion. Now Travian Dunbar will line up in the slot and all kinds of movement, and that's going to draw the penalty flag.
Yeah, Dunbar just got right to the right of center, and now a timeout on the field taken by Triton Central. This will be their first one, and obviously this one taken just to try and clear up that confusion, which is going to happen the first game of the season.
Yeah, no question. 8:18 to go in the opening period. No score between Batesville and Triton Central. We'll be back after this on WRBIRadio.com and WRBI TV.
It's back. Our delicious chicken bruschetta pizza is back. Cecil here. I'm interrupting this commercial for some important news. Our operating hours are changing to better serve our customers and to better take care of our team members. We will be closing at 8 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. That's right, our new hours are Sunday through Thursday from 10:30 a.m. to 8 p.m., then Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Come let us serve you. LicensedFamilyPizza.com, 812-933-0333, or 117 East George Street, downtown Batesville.
In case you hadn't heard, Scripture Auto in Greensburg is now a part of Whitewater Motors.
If you have an issue down the road, you can call Jamie Scripture or Dave Scripture. Try that at some of the bigger places. It's just customer service. We've been taking care of people for a decade. That's our biggest thing. We treat them like family, always have. Rest assured, Dave Scripture and myself, Jamie Scripture, are still here running the business. So that's the big thing.
Visit them online at whitewatergreensburg.com.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
Wilkins with his first pass of the night for Triton Central rolled out to his left and dumped it off. However, Gorth was not able to come up with it around the 10-yard line, so it'll be a 3rd and 12 Triton Central at the Batesville 20-yard line. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Whitewater Motors, Hurt and Elko, the Berkeley County Community Foundation, and Batesville Dental. Snap back, rolling out and looking all kinds of time, looking to his left and then toward the end zone, and is picked off. Coming up with it for the Batesville defense, number 22, Zayden Small. We talked about him at the running back position, but he gets back there defensively and able to come up with it in the B type of the Batesville part of the end zone.
Yeah, Coach Ulrey didn't really mention anything about his defense, but man, he was with the receiver every step of the way on the far side of the field. I'm really surprised the quarterback decides to go ahead and make that throw because Small is right there in front. He makes the leap and makes the grab. So all of that yardage gained by Triton Central, it goes to the wayside. So Batesville bends, they don't break. I think you'll take that here tonight.
Absolutely. That has been a calling card of the Batesville defense the last several years. Of course, the unit that went to the semi-state a year ago and the year before that advancing to the regionals. So it is Dylan Shane at the controls of the Batesville offense. He has 2 backs split behind him, 1 wide receiver to the far side. Batesville going from right to left as we're looking at things here. Hand it off to Small. Small tries to get a little bit of yardage and tough sledding. And one of the Bulldogs losing his lid. That is offensive lineman Tanner Wells. And he's going to have to come out for the obligatory one play. But tough sledding there by well defended by Triton Central.
And I think one thing you look at tonight for Triton Central is the fact that you probably have a good idea that Small is going to be the one who's going to get the football, so they've had probably a little bit better preparation to get ready for this offense, especially if you look at that game film from the scrimmage last Friday at East Central.
Yeah, no doubt keying on him, as it were. So clock rolling, under 7.5 minutes to go. Opening period, no score. Batesville coming up with an interception after a terrific drive by Triton Central. An ill-advised pass in the end zone and a timeout. Batesville will take a timeout. Both teams have taken one to this point, and we're going to go ahead and take one as well. 7:20 to go in the opening period. No score between Batesville and Triton Central on the WRBI app and WRBI TV.
It's back. Our delicious chicken bruschetta pizza is back. Cecil here. I'm interrupting this commercial for some important news. Our operating hours are changing to better serve our customers and to better take care of our team members. We will be closing at 8 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. That's right, our new hours are Sunday through Thursday from 10:30 a.m. to 8 p.m., then Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Come let us serve you. LicenseFamilyPizza.com, 812-933-0333, or 117 East George Street, downtown Batesville.
In case you hadn't heard, Scripture Auto in Greensburg is now a part of Whitewater Motors.
If you have an issue down the road, you can call Jamie Scripture or Dave Scripture. Try that at some of the bigger places. It's just customer service. We've been taking care of people for a decade. That's our biggest thing. We treat them like family, always have. Rest assured, Dave Scripture and myself, Jamie Scripture, are still here running the business. So that's the big thing.
Visit them online at whitewatergreensburg.com.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
Shane goes back to throw, and he is pressured and drops the ball and is picked up, and coming away with it is Triton Central. Looked like Wyatt Viles, a 5'10", 245-pound sophomore defensive lineman, coming up with it. However, they're going to say it was not a ruled a fumble, so it turned out Batesville actually getting it back. So with that, it's going to be a 3rd and 10. Bulldogs at their own 20-yard line.
Yeah, any higher division of football, we're probably replaying that one to see if it gets overturned.
Uh-huh. Thank goodness we don't have replay, editorial comment. Pitch it back to Smalls. He bounces it to the left side and just inside the hash marks and gets it to the 25-yard line. So gain of 5 for Zayden Small, the junior running back. And Batesville with a 3-and-out on their first possession after Small came up with the interception on defense in the end zone.
Yeah, trying to get a feel here. And, again, this is that unit that's got the most voids to fill coming into the new year. I thought that time protection was a little bit better up front. Give a lot of credit there to Aiden Grivey for opening up a little bit for Zayden. But now stepping back to punt, Triton Central could have some really good field position here.
Yeah, just 2 returning starters on that offensive unit from a year ago for Batesville.
Nice bounce.
And a nice bounce. It's going to bounce inside the 30. It's going to be picked up by the return man. That is Zeke Robertson. And Robertson gets away from one man and bounces it inside the numbers toward the hash mark. And finally is going to be taken down by Batesville's Trenton Jordan on special teams. So a little bit he did some made some guys miss over on the far sideline. And finally brought down. They're going to say he was down. They're going to mark him at the 31-yard line. So that's where Triton Central start out 1st and 10. And 6:20 to go in the opening period. No score in tonight's game, brought to you in part by Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Decatur County Memorial Hospital, and Bruns Gutzwiller.
Looked like a retro Friday night at the pinball machine, the way Robertson was bouncing off tackles.
Yeah, good way of putting it. 1st and 10, Triton Central at their own 31. Operating out of the shotgun is Wilkins. Claps his hands it off to the first man through. That is Brown. And Brown gets a few yards out of that, maybe generously 1, and that's about it. Well defended there by Batesville up front.
Yeah, they did a much better job. It looked like they were able to, on that far side of the field, to get some personnel out there that can plug up that side that Brown's been going through. You switch Camden Kaiser over to the left side of the defensive line, so those small adjustments, we'll keep seeing them.
2nd and 9, Triton Central. Ball at their own 32-yard line, 5:45 and counting, no score. Operating out of the shotgun is Matthew Wilkins in his first year at quarterback, the junior for Triton Central. Back to pass, looking, and steps up in the pocket. Is finally going to be taken down and just absolutely collared there by the aforementioned Cam Kaiser. Good recognition on his part to bring him down.
I only coached Camden in basketball, so I can say that I did not teach him that move. I would say older brother and dad had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, no doubt. So it'll be a 3rd and 10. So the ball back at the original line of scrimmage, the 31-yard line for Triton Central. 5 minutes and counting in quarter number 1. Triton Central, for the most part, keeping it on the ground. However, an ill-advised pass resulted in their first drive being snuffed out on an interception by Zayden Small in the end zone. Wilkins back to throw, looking, firing, steps up in the pocket, gets away from one man, dishes it out, and tries to hit it in the near side in the flat to his intended receiver, Devin Erganis, a 5'11", 165-pound senior. Erganis just not able to come up with it as he had to go down and kind of squat for it. So incomplete pass will be 4th and 10, ball at the 31-yard line. And we will see for the first time tonight Nicholas Termolin, a 6'2", 165-pound senior. Interesting fact here, Rob. He may be amphibious too. I don't know, but you know. And snap back to Termolin. And a high booming kick is going to be going to bounce inside the 30, take a Triton Central bounce and roll dead. And finally going to go inside the 20. And it will be down at the 17-yard line. So that's where Batesville will start out 1st and 10 at their own 17-yard line after the defense with a much better showing for the Bulldogs, able to come up with a 3-and-out.
Yeah, and I think they're going to be even more successful tonight if they continue to force Triton Central to pass, because that's a new quarterback back there. He only had, I think, 8 passing attempts even a year ago, so that's going to be new territory for Triton Central. And I thought he actually had a man downfield, more so open in McClure, but they tried to go out into the flat. Now can Batesville have a better showing on offense in Series 2 than what they did in Series 1?
And the Bulldogs finally break the huddle. That's 4:35 to go in the opening period. Dylan Shane under center. Has backs in the I formation behind him. Twins to the far side. He rolls out to his right looking, and he's going to just tuck it under. He's going to be rolled down. In fact, he's going to lose a yard or two on that play.
Yeah, he's going to end up losing, I'm going to say about 1.5 yards. So we'll call this a very long 2nd down and 11. And a little surprised early on to see Shane rolling out and throwing, just because of him needing to take that extra time as well. But maybe right now, because Triton Central did such a good job of snuffing Small out the first series, going to try something different in the playbook.
It looked like that was Evan Mitchell, a 5'11", 145-pound sophomore coming up with a stop.
Well, the spot was not friendly. They're going to say he lost 4 yards on the play.
Yeah, it looked like more like 2 yards on that. Shane under center, hands it off, and a little misdirection there. And Small getting the ball carrier, and finally gets it across the 15 to the 16-yard line, so he got some of that yardage back, but not much. And well defended there by Ty Bergman, a 5'11", 180-pound sophomore linebacker.
Going to get 2 yards out of that, so that's pretty much where I thought we were going to spot Shane at on the first play. So now a long 3rd down and 12. You're pretty much forced to throw one up here. We'll see if Batesville has a target they can go to downfield.
Twins split to the far side. They have Shane under center, I formation, hands it off to Zane. Zane goes right up the middle and finally going to be corralled before he got it to the 18-yard line. Coming up on the stop, Braden Brown, the aforementioned, mentioned him on offense, but he was one of the men for Triton Central coming up with a stop. So with that, Batesville's going to be forced to punt. And it will be Sebastian Hall back in punt formation, and expect Triton Central to come out of this with a really good field position.
However, Batesville with a really good punt this last time out, so this was pretty much the same identical spot, but they were able to get that football back all the way to the 30.
Yeah, just got to get those bounces like they did the last time.
I don't think they're going to get it this time.
No, that one's a high one, and it's going to be in Batesville territory, and it's going to roll out of bounds on the far sideline. So Triton Central in pretty good shape there. It looked like they're going to mark it out at the 43-yard line. So did not get the what they expected. So we're hoping for, like they did the previous punt by Sebastian Hall. So Triton Central will set up shop at the Batesville 43-yard line, 1st and 10. 2:24 in the first quarter, no score between Batesville and Triton Central.
All these new faces, and it's actually playing out a lot like what last year's game did. 21-14 was the final. Batesville was able to seal it late. It's not a lot of offense, and both teams, kind of like a boxing match, just getting a feel dancing around the ring.
Yeah, I think I compared last game at the time to a taffy pull, I believe. And a timeout by Batesville. Evan Ulrey uses his second. Comes with 2:24 in the opening period. No score between Batesville and Triton Central on WRBI app and WRBI TV.
You only have one smile. Make yours the best it can be with Batesville Dental. For over 40 years, Batesville Dental's provided the latest technology in their state-of-the-art facility. They strive to make your visit a pleasure. Doctors Broughton, Liedermeyer, and Roberts and their staff offer preventative care, Invisalign, implants, extractions, and cleanings to keep your mouth healthy and your smile beautiful. Batesville Dental, 391 Northside Drive, Batesville. You only have one smile. Make yours the best it can be. Batesville Dental.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
Fleetwood Chevrolet at 950 North Michigan Avenue in Greensburg invites you to visit them. They're here to help you with your next new or pre-owned vehicle purchase, as well as all your service and parts needs. They're the home of Greensburg's only drive-in service lane and free oil changes for life with the purchase of a new vehicle. Give them an opportunity to earn your business at Fleetwood Chevrolet.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
After the timeout, Triton Central handed off to Braden Brown. Brown is going to lose a yard on the play. Well defended by Batesville up front. And that proverbial pack of dogs coming in on the stop for Batesville. So it's going to be second and 11 Triton Central at the Batesville 44-yard line. Tonight's game brought to you part by Ivy Tech Community College, Gehring's, Vagley Napa Auto, and Ison's Family Pizza.
Everyone down the Triton Central section doing exactly what you're doing, trying to get that hand up because the sun has come out in full force here late in the first quarter.
Wilkins back in the shotgun, claps his hands, hands it off, and not doing there as he stumbles forward is Braden Brown. Looked like he tripped a little bit. The blade of the field turf got him or something, so he's going to lose, it looks like a yard on that. So they're going to mark it back at the 45-yard line. So, Rob, this Triton Central drive is in reverse.
Yeah, you've really got to give a lot of credit here to Batesville's defense. As this quarter has went along, they have just gotten better, and I think the big thing for me is they've gotten more physical because backs were having their way that first series, so maybe that interception kind of reminds them a little bit, hey, this is who we are, and they are showing very gritty defense here in the trenches.
Wilkins gets a snap and dumps it off to an up man and bounces it to the outside, and finally going to be taken down at the 42-yard lines out of bounds. The ball carrier was Zeke Robertson, a 5'8", 130-pound senior. Also, of course, we mentioned him as a kick returner, so he's able to get some positive yardage out of that one. But it is going to be a punting situation for the Triton Central Tigers. And back will be Nicholas Termolin, the senior punter. We'll go back in punt formation for Triton Central.
Little surprised that Triton Central is not going to go ahead and go for us. You've already plugged up Batesville's offense a couple times, maybe try and take a stab downfield, but you know what, a punt here, you pin them back deep if you're able to maintain the return man there deep.
Trenton Jordan back deep, and he's going to call for the fair catch and let it go out of bounds. Actually, he signaled it, kind of decoyed them, and finally off his foot to the near sideline, out of bounds. So that's going to give Batesville the football, the 25-yard line at their own 25 with 7.1 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. No score.
Yeah, do nothing silly here. Get a simple run play and get yourself to the end of the first quarter. Speaking of the first quarter scoreboard update, Greensburg leading 7-0 over Shelbyville. Isaac Sliger era taking off awfully well in Decatur County.
Yeah, no question about what the great job that he did at Rushville. Of course, they won the EIAC small division conference title a year ago. And, he started with less than nothing at Rushville, and he turned that program around. Back split behind quarterback Dylan Shane. Single wides to either side of the formation. Back to throw is Shane. And it looks like he's hit. And almost coming up with the big man interception was Seth Richardson, the nose guard. He's one of the big studs defensively up front for Triton Central, the 5'10", 245-pound senior.
Yeah, he threw that big paw up, and from Shane, that was a line drive throw that just goes right off the palm and drops. So huge sigh of relief. If you're Batesville, well, I thought they would play it safe and go with a run. Well, we'll go ahead and try and make a quick pass. I bet we're a little bit more safer this time around.
Yep, 3.6 seconds remaining. The clock frozen on the incomplete pass.
But there's a reason why I'm up here and not with the headset with that headset on.
But I'm glad you're up here, Rob.
Me too.
Yeah. Backs in the eye. Hand it off to Zane. Zane bounces it to the right side, bounces it outside the numbers, goes along the far sideline, into the 50, the 45, the 40, 35. It's a foot race. He cuts a misdirection, makes a man miss, gets it in the 5-10. Touchdown, Batesville. Zayden Smalls.
Maybe I should have a headset. That's one way to play it safe. Wow, there's the burst of speed Coach already talked about earlier this week. That was an absolute sprint of 75 yards. The Bulldogs are on the board. Rack up 6 for the Pups. Wanell can make it 7-0 at the end of the first.
So just like that, lightning in the ball, that's the potential that we've talked about quite a bit. Zayden Smalls just bounced it to the outside, a lot of misdirection, made a man miss it over in the far sideline, and finally it just took it in. It was a foot race from there on, and it was all academic as Brady Wanell comes on for the extra point. Trenton Jordan is the snapper. The holder is Jake Shornick. And Brady Wanell, it seems like this is his 6th year of eligibility, something like that. Snap back, the kick is up, and it is right down Huntersville. And with that, your score at the end of 1, the Batesville Bulldogs 7, the Triton Central Tigers nothing. We'll be back with second quarter action after this on WRBI app and WRBI TV.
You only have one smile. Make yours the best it can be with Batesville Dental. For over 40 years, Batesville Dental's provided the latest technology in their state-of-the-art facility. They strive to make your visit a pleasure. Doctors Broughton, Liedermeyer, and Roberts and their staff offer preventative care, Invisalign, implants, extractions, and cleanings to keep your mouth healthy and your smile beautiful. Batesville Dental, 391 Northside Drive, Batesville. You only have one smile. Make yours the best it can be. Batesville Dental.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
Fleetwood Chevrolet at 950 North Michigan Avenue in Greensburg invites you to visit them. They're here to help you with your next new or pre-owned vehicle purchase, as well as all your service and parts needs. They're the home of Greensburg's only drive-in service lane and free oil changes for life with the purchase of a new vehicle. Give them an opportunity to earn your business at Fleetwood Chevrolet.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Fleetwood Chevrolet, Great Plains Communications, and Margaret Mary Health. And that's one way to end the quarter. Zayden Smith, a 75-yard touchdown run. Brady Wanell adds the extra point. Batesville, at time expires in the first quarter, goes up 7-0. And the scoring drive brought to you by Assured Partners Insurance. In Batesville, see Mark Taylor.
Zayden Small, by the way.
Zayden Small, yep.
Zayden Small.
Zayden Small.
Not Smith. But
Not Smith, but Small. But I'll tell you what, he looked like Emmett Smith out there.
Yeah, he
number
did.
22.
Well, and Coach already did talk about how it's like watching his Cowboys in the 90s with Emmett Smith in the backfield on Coach's Corner Monday night.
Yeah.
So that was a flashback for him. He'd like that. Probably like that one in Dallas, too, coming up this fall.
And that's not the first time I've called him Zayden Smith. So I'm a repeat offender. And the kickoff bobbled and finally going to be corralled down inside the 10-yard line. They're going to mark it down the 8th, and that was just a knuckleball there from Brady Wanell. And finally, Triton Central able to fall on it, but of course they had a lot of company back there, but in the form of some blue-shirted Batesville defenders on special teams. And they're actually going to mark it down at the 7-yard line. So that's the where Triton Central has 93 yards to go, just underway here in the second quarter, trailing Batesville 7-0.
And it was a promising opening of the first quarter for Triton Central's offense. Running backs doing everything they can to get downfield and doing so with big chunks of yards. But passing game throws an INT. It was Zayden Small who came and got it. And really, Triton Central has generated nothing after that. And they've got a long way to go here to open up the second.
Yep, and as you mentioned, Rob, the Batesville defense tightening up, making adjustments on the fly. And with that, Matthew Wilkins, the first-year quarterback for Triton Central, the junior, operating out of the shotgun, send a man in motion, hands it off to the man off his left hip, and as Braden Brown,
Nice.
and going to be wrestled down at the 8-yard line, a gain of 1. However, there is a penalty marker coming in from the near side, and that stop defensively for Batesville was Gage Lancaster, the sophomore DB.
First year playing varsity football is Gage Lancaster. That's going to be a holding penalty against Triton Central. It looked like maybe the running back there had an angle, but Lancaster able to wrap him up. Batesville will accept the penalty. This will send Triton Central back even more. You're looking now at about first down on the repeat, about 14 yards to go. They'll be at their own 4.
Yeah, and you mentioned angles, Rob, and Lancaster had a terrific angle on that one. So 1st and 14, Triton Central back inside their own 4-yard line. And hand it off and go be a handoff inside to Braden Brown, and tough sledding there. He may not have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. I think he lost a yard on that one.
Yeah, there might even be a chance he lost 2, but I think they're going to say just a 1-yard loss. He had nowhere to go.
That was a generous spot. They marked him at the 4.
Well, so we'll go ahead and say no gain and make it 2nd and 14, but it certainly looked like at least the near side official was going to be over at the 3.
So Triton Central, backed up, and Batesville, as we mentioned earlier, after that rough start defensively, but saved by the interception, and they have been on lockdown ever since. And Wilkins, operating out of the shotgun in his own end zone, dumps it off to the right side and getting it outside, and we got a penalty marker on the far sideline. And we'll see, I believe that was Brown was the receiver on that one. And again, there is laundry on the field, so we'll see what that's all about. And it's going to be another holding penalty against the Tigers. So 2 Triton Central holding penalties on this drive.
So now you go from 2nd and 14 to 2nd and 19.
And Batesville is going to go ahead and decline it.
Okay. Well, we'll go right back then and make it about 3rd down and still double-digit yards to go.
Yeah, the ball nose of the football at the 6-yard line as Wilkins gets some instructions from Coach Tim Abel, the Hall of Famer, and comes on from the near sideline across the way as Triton Central going from right to left as we're looking at things here, or driving toward downtown Batesville. So 3rd and 12, Triton Central at their own 6-yard line, 10:40 and counting in the second period. Hand it off to Brown. Brown cuts it to the outside, gets it outside the numbers, and finally going to be able to get the necessary yardage for the first down. Nice aggressive run on the part of Brown, finally taken down by Batesville's Trenton Jordan, but not before he was able to pick up the fresh set of downs.
Well, you kind of wonder with that run there if there wasn't a little frustration on the part of Brown. He's been locked up now for about 10, 11 minutes and finally says, you know what, I'm just going to put my head down and bulldoze right through. He did that with Jordan before Jordan was able to wrap him up.
So you're saying he was running angry?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. 1st and 10, Triton Central at their own 21-yard line after the run by Brown. Operating out of the shotgun once again, clapping his hands, is Wilkins, and they try to bounce it to the outside, and Brown got to be tripped up there, a little shoestring tackle, as it were.
That's Lancaster
it sure
again.
Was. Yeah, sure was. Number 23 in your program, and just came up with that shoestring tackle there, just reached his mid out there and able to get enough of Brown to take him down. So that's going to be a loss of 1 on the play. Ball at the 20-yard line of the Triton Central Tigers.
Well, and Lancaster's just wiry enough to make a play like that happen. A big, strong guy like a Sebastian Hall, Jordan, they're not going to be able to do that. Lancaster, athletic enough to do so.
2nd and 11, Triton Central at their own 20-yard line. 9.5 minutes to go. Batesville leads it 7-0. Wilkins hands it off. And trying to go to the right side to the other running back. He bounces it to the outside the numbers, and finally going to be taken down shy of the sticks.
Is that Bo West?
Yeah, Bo West. So West, the ball carrier on that one, spelling Brown. And it's going to be a loss of 1 on the play.
So going to lose 1. It's going to be 3rd down. And technically, from our angle, West ran east.
Yeah, he did for a fact. So 8:50 and counting here in the second period. Batesville with the 7-0 lead. Again, if you missed it, Zayden Small ripped off a 75-yard run as time expired in the first quarter and a timeout. And it's going to be Triton Central, and Tim Abel uses his second timeout, so both teams down to 1. 8:43 to go in the second. Your score, Batesville 7, Triton Central nothing on the WRBI app and WRBI TV.
Simmer and sear with confidence using a Maytag freestanding electric range with 5 elements, including a 9-inch and 6-inch dual choice element, variable broil, and warming center. You can knock out mealtime in no time. The steam clean cycle and fingerprint resistant stainless steel finish makes it easy to keep clean inside and out. Shop Garings today. Garings and Maytag, 316 North Main, Batesville.
When it comes to you and your family's health, finding a primary care provider you can trust makes all the difference. At Margaret Mary Health, our providers aren't just here for you when you're sick. They're dedicated to being your long-term partners in health. If you're looking for a medical provider to help keep your family well, give us a call or visit us online. Our primary care providers are accepting new patients in Batesville, Brookville, Osgood, and Milan. Margaret Mary Health. Generations of care.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
Along with Rob LaFerry, Tom Snape at the Dog Pound. Batesville with a 7-0 lead over Triton Central. 8:43 to go in the second period. And the Tigers looking at a 3rd and 12 from their own 19-yard line. Quarterback Matthew Wilkins out of the shotgun, back to throw, looking, fires upfield, and is caught in the flat around the 45-yard line. Finally taken down in Batesville territory is the receiver. That is Henry Kemper, a 6'2", 180-pound running back, and also lines up at tight end, and the junior came up with it, just played center field back there, and finally taken down, but not before he got the ball into Batesville territory at the Bulldog 49.
Yeah, and that was a really good job by Wilkins to fire that one here near side of the field. Lancaster was on the coverage, and Lancaster's been a big-time thorn in this series, but finally able to target him in the secondary. That was a big catch downfield, and it's been a while since we've seen Triton Central in Batesville territory.
So 1st and 10, Triton Central. Twins to the far side, one to the near side, handed off to Brown, goes up the middle, gets it to the line of scrimmage, and that's it, as he was absolutely stonewalled by the Batesville defense. Braden Brown was. Sebastian Hall and also number 37, Caden Vogel, saying in on the stop. There is a penalty marker on the field. And it's going to be a hold against the Triton Central Tigers. So they're third to this point. They had 2 on their previous drive. That really stymied them and bogged them down. So it's going to march it back. So, of course, that's, if you're Tim Abel, Rob, something that's got to absolutely drive you nuts.
Yeah, and, obviously in week number 1 as a head coach, you're going to be a little bit more forgiving on some penalties, but the fact that this just keeps being a repetitive thing here in the first half, that's when frustration starts to build in.
So it's going to take it back to the 41-yard line in Triton Central territory. So it's going to be 1st and 20 for Triton Central. Twin wides to the far side, one to the near side. Triton Central going from right to left as we're looking at things here. Handed off to Brown. Brown gets back some of that yardage, and he was absolutely clobbered there on the Batesville defense. And coming up with that stop for the Batesville Bulldogs, number 72.
Xavier
Sams. Yeah, Xavier Sams, a freshman.
So you've had a sophomore and a freshman defensively. Coach already talked about it this week that he's going to have those guys who are going to be coming in and vying for minutes, and they are making the most of them here so far tonight.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Whitewater Motors, Hurt and Elko, the Ripley County Community Foundation, and Batesville Dental. 2nd and 17, so a pickup of 3 on the play. Ball at the 44-yard line of Triton Central. And Twins to the near side, one to the far side, and they dump it out. And not able to get anything going there. Well defended there by Batesville. The receiver on that one was Zeke Robertson. And he was pretty much for the most part dropped before he could get up ahead of Steen.
Yeah, it looked like Trenton Jordan came up to help make the tackle. A couple others in on the action as we trickle down to the 7-minute mark already of this first half.
Yeah, Lance Weiler getting up off the bottom of the pile for Batesville. So it'll be a 3rd and 17 for Triton Central at their own 43-yard line.
We're going to see how they line up here for Triton Central. You're throwing a little bit of a different secondary out there. Jordan's going to be over to the far side. You've got Isaac Limmel here to the near.
Out of the shotgun, as he has operated all game, is Wilkins. Back to throw, all kinds of protection, and finally we're going to have a stoppage in play before it can develop.
Penalty.
Yep.
It's against Triton Central.
Yeah, false start. So that's going to back them up. So another one of those aggravating penalties there. And, of course, they've been repeat offenders when it comes to holding, but the first false start for the Triton Central Tigers.
And not just frustration for Coach Abel. You're even starting to see it with the fans below us. The hands starting to throw up a little bit more, so to speak.
Yeah, and the commentary as well. Yeah. Yep. So 3rd and 22, Triton Central.
And that's only Annie Bias.
Yeah. Yeah, our on-site engineer tonight, Annie Nunnally. 3rd and 22, Triton Central at their own 39 after the penalties marked off. Back to throw is Wilkins under some pressure. Gets away from one man. Now he's going to step up and run it. And nice hit. Just absolutely laying the wood for the Batesville Bulldogs. It was Aiden Greiwe, the senior linebacker, came up and saw Wilkins and teed off on him and took him down at the 44-yard line in Triton Central territory. And it'll be Nicholas Termolin back in punt formation for the Triton Central Tigers.
Well, you got to like the throw by Wilkins, but, man, Aiden Greive, what a job just to be right there and make that big-time hit right in the gut. So the Batesville defense just continues to impress here in the first half ever since that first series when they got the interception. Again, bending, not breaking all the way back then.
And what I liked was that he carried out his assignment. He stayed in his containment area.
And do we have another timeout?
I believe, yep, that was going to be the 3rd and final timeout for Triton Central with 5:20 to go in the second period. Batesville 7, Triton Central nothing. We'll be back after this on the WRBI app and WRBI TV.
Simmer and sear with confidence using a Maytag freestanding electric range with 5 elements, including a 9-inch and 6-inch dual choice element, variable broil, and warming center. You can knock out mealtime in no time. The steam clean cycle and fingerprint resistant stainless steel finish makes it easy to keep clean inside and out. Shop Garings today. Garings in Maytag, 316 North Main, Batesville.
When it comes to you and your family's health, finding a primary care provider you can trust makes all the difference. At Margaret Mary Health, our providers aren't just here for you when you're sick. They're dedicated to being your long-term partners in health. If you're looking for a medical provider to help keep your family well, give us a call or visit us online. Our primary care providers are accepting new patients in Batesville, Brookville, Osgood, and Milan. Margaret Mary Health. Generations of care.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
Nicholas Termolin back in punt formation, gets off a decent punt, a line drive. It takes a Triton Central bounce. It's going to go all the way to the 6-yard line. So Batesville pinned back at their own 6 after the punt, leading Triton Central with 5:09 to go in the second period. 7-0 is your score. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Decatur County Memorial Hospital, and Bruns Gutzwiller.
So this will be the longest drive for Batesville tonight in order to get themselves back into the end zone to make this a 10, possibly 10-0, anywhere from 10-0 up to 14-0 here in the second quarter. We'll see if they immediately go to Zayden Small in the backfield.
And Small is back behind Shane, who operates under center. He goes left side and gets to the 5 and across the 5 to the 7-yard line before he's wrapped up by several white-shirted Triton Central defenders just immediately. So he's able to get something out of it. Not much, but he was able to get something out of it. We're going to take it, so it'll be a 2nd and 9. The ball will be at the 7-yard line, 4:44 and counting here in the second period. Batesville with the 7-0 lead.
Now, the further you can get away from that end zone, the better chances of not being forced into a safety. If you're Batesville, I think you take that. That's the only solace here if you're unable to keep moving the sticks.
Under center is Dylan Shane. Shane hands it off on a misdirection to Zayden Smalls. Smalls stumbles forward the left side and finally gets it to across the 5 down to the 6-yard line. So it looked like he got back to the line of scrimmage. That's about it. So not much doing there. So it's going to be a 3rd and 9. Batesville at their own 7-yard line. Actually marked it a 3rd and 10 at the 6-yard line. 4 minutes and counting in the second period. Batesville clinging to the 7-0 lead over Triton Central.
Tigers going to make a couple of changes coming out for them as the big fella Dallas Clark, 6'3", 245 off that D line, getting a little bit more athletic here. See if they're going to protect against Shane in the pass.
Jordan split to the near side, handed off to Small, and Small was immediately pounded. Tried to go inside, and nothing doing there. And coming up with that stick was number 53 for the Triton Central Tigers, Kai West, a 5'8", 195-pound freshman defensive lineman. So he just absolutely laid the wood to Zayden Small on that one.
Well, and I think what was going to happen was I think Shane wanted that defense to take a bait because he rolled out to his right and made that little handoff with the left hand, but Triton Central defense stays put and makes that stop, and they should get good field position yet again. That's not a good punt for Batesville.
No, as Jordan back in punt formation, and it goes high and comes to the near sideline, and finally he's going to roll out of bounds. So Triton Central's going to be in Fat City, as it were. They'll have the ball at their own, or at the Batesville 38-yard line with 2:58 to go in the quarter, right before halftime. Again, Batesville with the 7-0 lead, but Triton Central definitely in scoring position.
Yeah, all it's been so far offensively, highlight reel-wise, has been Zayden Small's 75-yard run, and other than that, it's pretty much been back and forth. It's been the same story for both teams, and I kind of had a feeling the defense will play a big part, especially here in this first half. I will be really curious once we get to halftime what adjustments these two teams can make.
And, of course, Small also coming up with the interception in the end zone to stop the Triton Central drive and pitch it back, and going back to that running back, it is Zeke Robertson, that little touch pass from quarterback Matthew Wilkins to Zayden Robertson. He bounces it to the left side and picked up 7 on the play, so a good run there by Robertson. He'll set up a 2nd and 3 for Triton Central at the Batesville 30-yard line.
He was a guy that saw some time last year, but he was a secondary guy behind Brown in the backfield. But again, remember, Triton Central primarily a passing team a year ago. Tonight, been pretty much the ground game.
Wilkins fakes the handoff and gonna roll out to his right, looking upfield toward the end zone, and off the hands of the intended receiver, and there was a penalty marker down away from the play. And that was intended for number 11, Henry Kemper, and not able to come up with it in the that far pylon.
That's one, if you're Kemper, you are hitting yourself there for not making that grab because he's wide open. We've got this penalty to sort out, as Tom said, all the way over here to the near side of the field up at the 15.
And that's going to be holding against Batesville, because I saw one of the it was Connor McClure, the wide receiver, down around the 20-yard line signaling like he had been held. And that was exactly what happened there. So that's going to mark it off and give Triton Central extra field position, and got to take it down and give them another first down here. So they'll get it to the 20-yard line is where they're going to mark it down. So a 1st and 10 for Triton Central at the Batesville 20-yard line after the penalty marker is down, and we're waiting for the chain gang across the way to get in position, and so we'll play ball once again.
Got to give him kudos for getting down there in that time.
I'm telling you. Carrying that those links and everything. Wilkins, empty backfield out of the shotgun, looking backfield, fired all kinds of protection, and caught over the middle, and a wrestling match for it, and finally coming away with it, the strong arms. Look like that is it's going to be McClure coming up with it for the Triton Central Tigers, and that's going to be a 1st and goal for the Triton Central Tigers. Going to mark it down at the 8-yard line.
Looked like number 13, Eli Denny, trying to wrestle that one away from the receiver and just could not hang on. Receiver wins the battle. What I like what Triton Central does, they took Brown out of the backfield to put him in as a receiver in motion, and that's going to make this Batesville defense have to fly around a little bit more, catch him off guard and make that pass complete in the middle.
1st and goal, Triton Central at the Batesville 8. Pitch back and bounces it to the outside is Brown. Brown trying to learn off left tackle and going to be taken down by the Batesville Bulldog defense, leading the charge, Caden Vogelsang, among others. Also, Cam Kaiser getting in on the mix. So that'll take the ball down to the Batesville 5-yard line with 1:16 and counting here in quarter number 2. Batesville clinging to the 7-point lead. However, Triton Central knocking at the door.
Well, last time Triton Central knocked at the door, Batesville was able to come up with a turnover. Can they do it again?
Under center is Wilkins for the first time tonight. Pitch it back to Brown. Brown bounces to the outside left side and gets it in the end zone for the touchdown. Braden Brown with the 8-yard touchdown run. And it comes with 58.4 seconds remaining in the first half. And Nicholas Tremolin on for the extra point attempt to try and tie this game at 7 heading into the locker room.
Triton Central finally getting some rhythm. The penalty against Batesville obviously helps, but quarterback able to stretch out this defense with the pass game. You complete a couple passes, and then you're able to go back to Brown in the backfield. That's going to be that bread and butter for the Tigers here as we approach halftime, getting ready for half number 2.
And we had some movement, and
we got a timeout.
Timeout, yep. Batesville calling a timeout, and that's going to be Evan Ulry's last timeout. So both teams out of timeouts with 58.4 seconds remaining. We'll keep it here momentarily, and I'll tell you that tonight's game is brought to you in part by Ivy Tech Community College, Garings, Bagley Napa Auto, and Ison's Family Pizza. Also, our thanks as well to Margaret Mary Health, Fleetwood Chevrolet, and Great Plains Communications. So Triton Central, looking to tie it here on the extra point attempt by Nicholas Tremolin. Again, the fun fact about him is he kicks it right-footed, punts it left-footed. So that is very unique. It's talented. I mean, we've seen ambidextrous
I
throwers.
can't cook with either foot.
Yeah. But so he'll be on there. So the timeout taken by Batesville. And I don't know if that's necessarily an ice the kicker, but nevertheless, Braden Brown an 8-yard touchdown run, and Tremolin on for the extra point attempt, looking to tie the game here. So it looks like actually they're going to go.
They're going to go
for two. They're going to go for 2. So wipe out Tremolin's duties here. They going to go on the 2-point try here. Under center is Wilkins. Wilkins dumps it off to Brown, waiting for his block to develop, cuts it to the inside, and not able to get, finally spin move, and kept going, second and third effort, and gets it in for the 2-point conversion. So great job there by Brown, and it makes it an 8-0 ball game in favor of Triton Central, and the scoring drive is brought to you by Assured Partners Insurance in Batesville. See Rebecca Kraft as the Triton Central Tigers take the lead for the first time tonight with 58.4 seconds remaining. They lead it 8-7.
Yeah, that's one that if you are Evan Ulry and the defensive coaching staff, you're not going to be happy there because Brown should have been wrapped up initially. He is able to escape 1, then 2, then 3. You had a great chance to at least preserve a 7-6 lead, but then on the flip side, you got to give Brown a little bit of credit there for continuing to fight, and that's the second kind of run we've seen from him in the second quarter where it's just been absolute determination and grit for him to make something happen for this offense.
Yeah, he just kept those legs churning and just very aggressive and a great job there, but at the same time, Batesville with not exactly the best tackling technique on that. So Brown does it all on that drive. He comes up with the 8-yard run and then punches it in for the 2-point conversion and gives Triton Central the 8-7 lead as 58 seconds remaining before halftime. So stay tuned for halftime activities. We'll talk all about it. Also give you some scoring updates, the ones that we have throughout the area. And, of course, if you don't catch them during the broadcast, be sure to check out WRBIRadio.com. And, of course, we'll also run those down during the local sports reports tomorrow morning and at noon. So Tremolin getting ready to advance on the football. And a low line drive kick that's going to be handled by one of the up men and bobbled and finally going to fall on it is one of the Batesville return men. And coming up with that is 28 Isaac Enking. So able to fall on it and avoid disaster. So Batesville at their own 25-yard line with a 1st and 10, trailing Triton Central 8-7, 55 seconds remaining before the break.
And worth noting that Batesville does get the football back to begin the second half. TC won the toss but elected to receive. I don't know if you try and do anything heroic here. Obviously, Zayden Small didn't need anything with that 75-yard run at the end of the first quarter. But you still want to be aggressive here, but also you still want to have some of that safety factor in there too. And it looks like Batesville's just going to go ahead and knee it.
Yep, they're going to go to the genuflect offense. Snap back to Shane and takes a knee. And they could probably get off maybe one more snap. So 30 seconds on the play clock. So they'll go ahead and snap it, take a knee, and go to the locker room, and both teams make their halftime adjustments. So Shane takes his time and looks up and under center, gets a snap, takes a knee. And that should do it as both teams begin to head off to the locker rooms off to our left. So your score at the half, the Triton Central Tigers 8, the Batesville Bulldogs 7. Rob LaFerry and I will be back with halftime activities after this timeout. You're listening to high school football on the WRBI app and WRBI TV.
The most and best high school sports is on WRBI.
Entertainment, the Batesville High School Marching Band.
Make some time to visit your local Napa store, Vaguely Napa Auto in downtown Batesville. This month, you'll find Toolbox brand shop towels, $2.69 a roll. Napa Full Synthetic Motor Oil, $5.39 a quart. WD-40, $7.49 for a 12-ounce can. Napa Diesel Exhaust Fluid, 2.5 gallons for $12.99. And Xerex Pre-Diluted Antifreeze starting at $13.99 a gallon. It's all at your local Napa store, Vaguely Napa Auto in downtown Batesville.
It's back. Our delicious chicken bruschetta pizza is back. Cecil here. I'm interrupting this commercial for some important news. Our operating hours are changing to better serve our customers and to better take care of our team members. We will be closing at 8 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. That's right, our new hours are Sunday through Thursday from 10:30 a.m. to 8 p.m., then Friday and Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Come let us serve you. LicensedFamilyPizza.com, 812-933-0333, or 117 East George Street, downtown Batesville.
Is your student athlete in need of a sports physical? At Margaret Mary Health, sports physicals are offered at all walk-in immediate care centers, available for $20. These exams are more than just a checkup. They help ensure your child is healthy and ready to play. No appointment is necessary, and immediate care centers are conveniently located in Batesville, Brookville, and Osgood, so you can choose the one that works for you. Don't wait. Get your child ready for the season with a sports physical.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
Fleetwood Chevrolet at 950 North Michigan Avenue in Greensburg invites you to visit them. They're here to help you with your next new or pre-owned vehicle purchase, as well as all your service and parts needs. They're the home of Greensburg's only drive-in service lane and free oil changes for life with the purchase of a new vehicle. Give them an opportunity to earn your business at Fleetwood Chevrolet.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
The most and best high school sports is on WRBI.
And welcome back to the Dog Pound. It is halftime, week 1 of the high school football season. And it is the Triton Central Tigers on top of the host Batesville Bulldogs 8-7. Along with Rob LaFerry, I'm Tom Snape. And the scoring rundown in the first half looked like this. It had been a scoreless first quarter. And, of course, Triton Central took the opening kickoff, got deep into Batesville territory, and then a pass interception by Zayden Small in the end zone snuffed out the Triton Central drive, and then back and forth both teams went in a couple of 3-and-outs, punts. And then as time expired in the first quarter, Zayden Small ripped off a 75-yard run, and Brady Walnell added the extra point, and it made it a 7-0 score in favor of the Batesville Bulldogs. It stayed that way until 58.4 seconds remaining in the second period after a short punt by Batesville. Triton Central took it on down the field. Braden Brown capped off the drive with an 8-yard run. He added a 2-point conversion on the run, and with great second and third effort. And that's where things stand at the half. The Triton Central Tigers on top of the Batesville Bulldogs, 8-7.
Yeah, defense has certainly prevailed for the most part here tonight, and Batesville's defense obviously held on for a very long time and came up big. It looked like maybe a little doubt there defensively early tonight, and maybe some jitters too on week number 1 of the high school football season. But Triton Central threatened. Zayden Small was able to come up with an interception to save a deep drive, and of course Small with that 75-yard sprint, as you mentioned, plus the extra point, gave Batesville that lead for the longest time. But Triton Central finally able to put something together at the end. I don't think you have much of a problem with the touchdown run into the end zone to make it 7-6, but you know Coach Ulrey and his staff will certainly be harping on allowing that 2-point conversion to happen to make it an 8-7 game, because it right now, quite honestly, should be 7-6 Batesville heading into the locker room.
And if you're Batesville defensively, what's so frustrating, the fact that you had Brown back. He'd lost yardage, as a matter of fact, and you had him corralled, but he just kept the legs turning. A combination of that and also, quite frankly, bad tackling there and just not very good technique on that. And that's where things stand here at the half. It is Triton Central getting on top of Batesville, 8-7. As far as of course, we're also keeping tabs on some other games around the area. Rob, what do you have?
Well, take a look at the scoreboard for tonight's second quarter of our other game tonight, which is on air on WRBI and on the WRBI app. East Central right now having their way with Lawrenceburg. 22-6 is that score. Trojans over the Tigers. Late second quarter, 3:30 to go. Milan leads Rushville 20-6. It's a blowout already in the second quarter in Greensburg. North Decatur leads South Decatur 40-0. And other second quarter scores, Shelbyville leads Greensburg 14-7. South Dearborn on top of Jennings County 20-6. The only two games with no updates so far, that is Connorsville at Richmond, and West Gilman and Franklin County on the road tonight taking on Newcastle.
And, of course, we'll keep you updated as best we can throughout the evening on all those sports, all those scores. And if you miss them, be sure to catch it after the game on WRBIRadio.com and also during the local sports report as well. Of course, this isn't the only sports that we have on tonight on the Sports Voice. We've got Cincinnati Reds baseball after we wrap up the proceedings there, and the boys down in Lawrenceburg, down at the pit, finish what they're doing. Once we conclude our high school football coverage tonight, we'll send things out to Phoenix, where the Cincinnati Reds open a 3-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Again, we'll have that coverage for you after our high school football coverage.
Yeah, and we'll continue to see what the Redlegs can do. Also, by the way, go online at WRBIRadio.com and check out our latest blog from Brent Lee detailing some of the ongoings for the Reds. Of course, the big story right now, only a half game out of a wild card spot a couple months ago. I probably would have said you're crazy for thinking such can happen, but the Mets are reeling a little bit. The Reds have made some moves as of late, of course, with the trade deadline in July, bringing a couple guys up from the minors as well to bolster the roster. So it is nice to still be following Major League Baseball this deep into the season, but quite the challenge with the Diamondbacks. And, of course, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, you're on the road taking on the Dodgers, which will be no easy task in old L.A.
Yes, proverbial Chavez Ravine, as it were. But, you're right, Rob. It is absolutely fun to do scoreboard watching at this time of year, and combining that with the high school football season kicking off and all the fall sports as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you've got a chance to be a background watcher of baseball and still have those games on. Friday nights now, you're looking forward to high school football. College football opens up a little bit tomorrow, preseason NFL football. And, of course, in the high school ranks, you don't want to forget all the other fall sports going on right now, because we have had a lot of great things happening already, whether it be on the volleyball court, out on the cross-country courses. Batesville girls golf has had a stellar beginning to their season. You've got soccer going on right now. We've got a couple teams in our listening area who are ranked. So this is that time of year where everything just feels right. Everything's back in sync and on schedule in the sports world, and we're only just beginning, because we've got a long way to go here as this 2025-2026 school year has opened up.
And I'll tell you what, for a week one is you couldn't have asked for a better night. I mean, there's a lot of nights. I mean, we've been through it before where it's been sweltering and like hoping for some air conditioning and just a perfect Chamber of Commerce night.
Yeah, it is. And you look at pictures from scrimmage games last Friday when we had heat indexes of 99, 100, 101, and you look at the pictures and think, man, no one really looks like they want to be out here tonight. But this is perfect. And you even wonder a little bit. With the cooling down, are cramps going to become a factor in the second half? Which it might, but these guys are extremely well conditioned. And for fans, I mean, you can see with the crowd tonight, you want to come out and watch high school football on a night like this. And I even feel as that first half went along, the crowd has only gotten bigger. I love being here at Batesville because you've got that student section that has no bleachers in the end zone, so they're all standing there in the back of the end zone just off to our left. Triton Central's brought a really good crew tonight, too. Adult fans on both sides. It's a packed house, and this is what high school sports in a small area like ours is all about.
Yeah, and two, it's communities linked by I-74, so just hop on the interstate, whether you're coming this way or heading that way, just hop on the interstate on 74. And, a lot of folks, as you mentioned, Rob, the student section standing, no bleachers down at that end, but got the picnic area up by the concession stand is full. You've got people lined along the chain link fence as well, so this is what it's all about, those Friday night lights, and, you want to talk about your slice of Americana, this is it.
Yeah, it is. And, even throw out there that you've got your cheerleaders here, you've got the dance team here, the band's wrapping up with their halftime performance, and of course Cameron Edwards, the band director here at Batesville, is able to take his band and dance team and showcase them a couple of weeks ago. And by the way, speaking of Cameron, congratulations to him being named Ripley County Educator of the Year. So everyone's getting a chance to be out here to showcase their talents as a student athlete, as a member of the band, the dance team, the cheerleaders, the student section. Everyone's got a role here at Batesville High School as a part of high school athletics.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, the pageantry. You've got the game and then all the other things that go along with it as well. So
if someone just had some pie, I feel like that would have been like the perfect, homemade pie right there on top of it.
Yeah, apple pie, maybe a slice of vanilla ice cream on top of it. Yeah, no doubt about it. But before we get too hungry here, we're going to go ahead and take a quick timeout. Again, your score at the half, Triton Central on top of Batesville 8-7, and we'll take a look ahead and see what we can cook up as far as the second half is concerned. Again, you're listening to high school football on the WRBI app and WRBI TV.
Cool off with hot internet savings from Great Plains Communications. We know summers are blazing, but your internet bill doesn't have to be. Take advantage of our unbeatable prices on fast, reliable internet powered by our expanding fiber network. Whether you're streaming, gaming, or working from home, our local teams are here to bring you unmatched service and support because we live and work right here in your community. Lock in your hot internet savings today from your trusted provider, Great Plains Communications. Visit gpcom.com today.
In case you hadn't heard, Scripture Auto in Greensburg is now a part of Whitewater Motors.
If you have an issue down the road, you can call Jamie Scripture or Dave Scripture. Try that at some of the bigger places. It's just customer service. We've been taking care of people for a decade. That's our biggest thing. We treat them like family, always have. Rest assured, Dave Scripture and myself, Jamie Scripture, are still here running the business. So that's the big thing.
Visit them online at whitewatergreensburg.com.
When looking for the highest standard of HVAC service and care, turn to Hurt & Elko, your local Lennox Premier dealer. Hurt & Elko and their Premier dealer status means you're certain to be working with a company who has the highest level of training, professionalism, and customer satisfaction. For a limited time, they're offering up to $1,900 in rebates on a brand new Lennox system or finance with low monthly payments. Call Hurt & Elko today at 812-934-4646 or visit them online at hurt-elko.com to learn more. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
The Batesville and Milan varsity football teams are joining forces to turn over hunger this football season. All donations will be granted to the Weekend Backsack program, which sends a backpack of food home with hungry students in Ripley County schools. Help turn over hunger and send your donation to the Ripley County Community Foundation, 13 East George Street, Suite B, Batesville, or donate online at rccfonline.org. That's rccfonline.org.
Your free source for local sports, WRBI.
And welcome back to the Dog Pound. Tom Snape and Rob LaFerry as we get ready for the second half of tonight's ball game, the season opener for the Batesville Bulldogs and the Triton Central Tigers and across the state of Indiana. And it is Triton Central on top of Batesville 8-7 with a tying touchdown run and a 2-point conversion to the difference in that one for the Triton Central Tigers. And as far as the second half is concerned, Rob, what are you expecting or looking to see?
Well, I think the big thing right now is if you're Batesville defensively, you've got to be a tad smidge concerned with how well Triton Central ended there in the first half, because they started to adjust a little bit offensively. The play calls are a little bit more different. You know, they really relied on trying to get that football to Brown on run play after run play in the first half until late. You take him out of the backfield in motion and put him up as a receiver, and that made Batesville have to fly around a little bit more, and they looked a little uncomfortable with that. So if Triton Central continues to do that, Batesville's going to have to find a way to adjust their defense to get themselves settled back in. I think, though, for Batesville, the biggest thing to look at in the second half is going to be that offense. Zayden Small is able to rip off a 75-yard run. That's great, but they've had no other offense aside from that TD run. So we know the offense and getting them to replace what was had a year ago, that's going to be a process that's not going to be a start and finish tonight, but you've got to see something. You've got to be able to build off of it heading into week 2, feeling good about something going into that ball game against Milan. It's a close ball game. It's been an enjoyable one, but something's got to break, and offense is going to play a huge part in that.
Yeah, it's like relying on the three-pointer in basketball,
right,
or the home run to in baseball. But again, as we mentioned earlier, Batesville returning 2 starters on offense. Of course, their 4-3 defense returning 3 stars. So a lot of new faces in unfamiliar places as far as the offense and defense is concerned. Although a lot of the underclassmen did see a lot of action last year, seeing a lot of sprinkling and a lot of freshmen and sophomores, along with some of the juniors as well, and the upperclassmen, as both teams back on the field. The Batesville Bulldogs off to our left and warming up and getting ready for the second half. And they're in their traditional royal blue home jerseys, along with the white helmets and the white pants. The Triton Central Tigers have warmed up enough. They're already in their bench area, wearing their white helmets, the white jerseys, and the green pants, and the numerals and letters trimmed in green as well. So get ready to get things underway here momentarily. And we still have a little bit of time here. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take another quick timeout. Be back with second half action after this timeout on WRBI app and WRBI TV.
You only have one smile. Make yours the best it can be with Batesville Dental. For over 40 years, Batesville Dental's provided the latest technology in their state-of-the-art facility. They strive to make your visit a pleasure. Doctors Broughton, Liedermeyer, and Roberts and their staff offer preventative care, Invisalign, implants, extractions, and cleanings to keep your mouth healthy and your smile beautiful. Batesville Dental, 391 Northside Drive, Batesville. You only have one smile. Make yours the best it can be. Batesville Dental.
Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep is a proud sponsor of local athletics. I'm Michelle Galk, and at Batesville Chrysler, we value this community and the relationships we've built with our customers. As your hometown car dealer, we understand the importance of staying connected to the community. We commend all our student athletes and their hard work and dedication. That's why we're proud to sponsor local sports coverage so that fans can stay connected no matter where we are. Remember, you can buy a car anywhere, but when you buy at Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, we can all work together to support the future of this great community.
Do you have joint pain? Joint pain doesn't have to be a part of aging. Adults with knee, hip, or shoulder pain can register now to get a free X-ray and attend a free screening and education program at Decatur County Memorial Hospital. Learn from orthopedic surgeons about non-surgical and surgical treatments that provide relief. To register, call 812-663-1279 or visit dcmh.net/events today.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
And we are getting ready for second half action. It will be Batesville receiving the ball. They will be going from left to right as we're looking at things here, driving toward Interstate 74, along with Rob LaFerry and on-site engineer Annie Nunley. Tom Snape getting ready to bring you second half action against Triton Central with the 8-7 lead. And again, it will be Batesville to receive this second half kickoff as Nicholas Tremolin advances on the football. A high end-over-end kick that's going to be taken at the 5-yard line. Goes over the middle.
Boom! Man!
Just absolutely crushed on that one. Just the return man, but he's able to get up somehow, some way. And that was Tyler Jacobs in number 15. That was Connor McClure just absolutely laying the wood.
Wow.
I mean, you want to talk about a head-on collision. That was exactly it. As he was trying to get up some steam and not able to get anything going there. Was Gordon,
he's so hyped up, he's still going down the sideline over here. There's no one even over there.
Nope. So a 1st and 10 for the Batesville Bulldogs at the 19-yard line. But, yeah, you want to talk about coming out of the locker room fired up, especially on the heels of that late touchdown for Triton Central. Dylan Shane under center, fakes the handoff, rolls out to his right, looking upfield, firing, and dumped off at the 25, caught and brought down at the 30-yard line from behind is for the Batesville Bulldogs, Caden Vogelsang. So Vogelsang, they had to go down low for it, able to come up with it. It was finally dropped, but not before another 1st and 10 for the Batesville Bulldogs takes it out to the 31-yard line in Bulldog territory.
And they had a similar play call earlier this game where instead of Shane on the keeper rolling out to make the pass, they went to the carry with Zayden Small, and Triton Central did not bite. They really thought that Small was going to get the football that time, so Shane's finally able to get someone to take some bait, and a great pass up ahead to Vogelsang.
Shane will hand it off to Zayden Small. Tried to bounce it to the outside. He was running laterally. He was absolutely trapped. He had nowhere to go on that one. Several white-shirted Triton Central defenders coming in on the stop of that particular play, and one of those, number 58, was Triton the Tulip, a 5'11", 195-pound junior defensive lineman, among others. But Small trying to run it to the outside, but protection breaking down, lost yards on the play, so it'll be a 2nd and 5, Batesville, at their own 26-yard line, 10:44 and counting in the third period. Batesville trails Triton Central 8-7. Under center is Shane. Backs in the eye, fakes the handoff, rolling out to his right as Shane looks upfield, tipped, and ball falls incomplete. Well defended there. That ball was kind of up for grabs. Luke Strong tipped it into the air, and the intended receiver on that one was Jordan. And Trenton not able to come up with it around between the 35 and 40-yard line. So it'll be an incomplete pass. Stop the clock with 10.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. 3rd and 15, Batesville at their own 26.
And a couple pass plays tonight where Triton Central probably should have came up with an interception, and Batesville has been able to bite the bullet.
Yeah, a little tip drill there. Could have easily come up with it, and almost had a big man interception in the first half, as you mentioned, Rob. Under the center, handed off. Small try to downce it to the outside. Nothing doing there. In fact, he's going to lose yardage, but I'll tell you what, they have absolutely got Zayden Small hemmed in there. Braden Brown, who came up with the touchdown run, the 2-point conversion right before the half, comes up with the stop there, and it's going to be a 3 and out for the Batesville Bulldogs, and he'll be back in punt formation. Will be Sebastian Hall.
When you take a look at Batesville with Small, there's not a lot of north-south. I think if Small wants to be a successful tailback in that starter role, he's going to have to be able to be a guy that just can't dive and jive around. You've got to be able to go straight up the gut to make something happen.
And a fair catch is signaled and taken by Zeke Robertson. But Triton Central's going to come out of it with really good field position. They'll have it at their own 47-yard line, leading Batesville 8-7, 9:45 to go in the third period.
See if Triton Central, again, we talked about it at halftime, got some momentum, started to switch things up in the playbook a little bit. And you know Coach Abel's a guy who knows how to make adjustments. He's been doing this too long not to be able to make them.
Yep, 32 years in the business, 13th season at Triton Central. Also has a state championship to his credit as well back in 2000 with East Noble. Snap back, handed off to Brown, goes right up the middle. Brown going to be met right about the 49-yard line by Sebastian Hall. So got a little bit of breathing room, but that hole closed up rather quickly. So it'll be a pickup of 2 on the play, 2nd and 8. Triton Central at their own 49.
Contrast in running backs. Just got done talking about, Small's a guy who wants to get to the outside. Brown, he just wants to beat you up right up the middle.
Yeah, just pounded it on the inside, and that's exactly what Brown's been doing.
Watch for Connor McClure here on the near side, lined up as a receiver. He's been open a couple times. They're going to go back to the run.
Yeah, go back to Brown and hand it off to Brown, and he gets it across the midfield stripe and in the Batesville territory before he's finally hauled down at the 46-yard line. Cam Kaiser in on the stop for Batesville. So it's going to be a 3rd and 4 for Triton Central. Very manageable. This is what we talk about as far as staying on schedule, and this is exactly what Triton Central's doing. So they've got it going offensively here and staying on schedule with that big hammer back there in the form of number 36.
Going to line him up in the gun. He'll be lined up to the right of Wilkins. 2 wide receivers out to the far side, man in motion.
Snap back to Wilkins, handed off to Brown. He now bounces it to the outside and gets away from one man and finally got to get it across the 35, cuts it inside at the 30, inside the 25, all the way down inside the 20, and it got to take him down, and it got to mark him down at the 20-yard line. So Braden Brown does the power run up the middle and kicks it out to the outside and wait for the blocks to develop. And finally going to be taken down by Trenton Jordan, but not before. He sets up the Triton Central Tigers at the Batesville 20-yard line.
Well, and that's going to be set up because he got a tremendous block from number 9, Zeke Robertson, who was allowing him to get that extra yards because Batesville had a couple guys in there chasing. But Triton Central rocking and rolling here towards the midway mark.
Yeah, that's what I think Coach would say. It's they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. That snap back out of the shotgun, looking all kinds of time is Wilkins.
Flag.
Falls out to his right. We have a flag on the play, and he's going to go ahead and dump it off in. But we're going to see what this flag is all about.
And I would venture to say this will be another holding penalty. That was a big bugaboo against Triton Central in the first half, and this will be the 4th holding penalty against the Tigers tonight.
Yeah, that is in fact the hold is whistled and signaled by the white hat. But yeah, that's the only thing that other than turnovers and then these penalties, that's the only thing that's really, it seemed for the most part, has really been frustrating if you're Tim Abel and company.
We do have a score update from a game we did not have at halftime, Tom. 3rd quarter, 8:07 to go. Connorsville leading Richmond 21-7.
All right, so that game being played up at Leibolt Field, and Richmond, long-time rivals, those two teams getting together for many years in the first week of the season. So a 1st and 10, Triton Central, and they're going to mark it off. They got to mark off the penalty first, so that's going to take it back. It's going to be a 1st and 20, and take it back to the 30-yard line. And Wilkins operating out of the gun as he has for most of the night. He has Brown on his left hip. Send a man in motion to the near side, fake the dump off. Wilkins steps up and got to get away from one man and finally got to be taken down from behind. And looked like he was looking to pass, then didn't see anything developing downfield, so he decided to take off and run. And coming up with the stop for the Batesville Bulldogs was Matthew Mayer, a 6'3", 215-pound junior.
Well, it looked like maybe McClure yet again opened downfield, but it was just kind of a brief window. So Wilkins would just rather be safe than sorry, especially this deep in Batesville territory.
2nd and 16, Triton Central at the Batesville 26-yard line. Once again out of the shotgun, clapping his hands is Wilkins, hands it off to Brown. Brown cuts it to the inside and tried to bounce it to the outside, but nothing doing there. Batesville able to come up with the big stop. And it was Jackson Riddle coming up on the stop, among others, for the Batesville Bulldogs. So they'll set up a 3rd and 15 for the Triton Central Tigers at the Batesville Bulldog 25-yard line, approaching the 6.5-minute mark here in quarter number 3. Triton Central with the 8-7 lead. However, they are threatening as McClure split to the far side. We have one man in the slot, single wide to the near side. Snap it back to Wilkins. Wilkins steps up in the pocket, fires it, and fields to the near side. And they're going to say no, incomplete. The receiver was trying to say that was Looked like that was McClure trying to come up with it. Said that he had caught it, but the official was right on top of it. Said it hit the carpet. So it's going to be an incomplete pass. We'll stop the clock with 6:16 to go here in the third.
You got to like Batesville's Aiden Grivey coming over, who was around where that pass happened, kind of leans down over the receiver and gives the no way. But obviously this is 4-down territory for Triton Central. You're going to go ahead and go for this here.
Yeah, they're going to kick it as Termolin comes on. Nicholas Termolin, the right-footed kicker, left-footed punter. It's a 42-yard attempt.
That's
going to be not even close. I mean, barely made it in the end zone, so nothing going there. So the field goal attempt no good by Triton Central. So Batesville holds defensively. 6:09 to go in the third. Your score, Triton Central 8, Batesville 7. Back after this on WRBI TV and the WRBI app.
The Batesville and Milan varsity football teams are joining forces to turn over hunger this football season. All donations will be granted to the Weekend Backsack program, which sends a backpack of food home with hungry students in Ripley County schools. Help turn over hunger and send your donation to the Ripley County Community Foundation, 13 East George Street, Suite B, Batesville, or donate online at rccfonline.org. That's rccfonline.org.
Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep is a proud sponsor of local athletics. I'm Michelle Galk, and at Batesville Chrysler, we value this community and the relationships we've built with our customers. As your hometown car dealer, we understand the importance of staying connected to the community. We commend all our student athletes and their hard work and dedication. That's why we're proud to sponsor local sports coverage so that fans can stay connected no matter where we are. Remember, you can buy a car anywhere, but when you buy at Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, we can all work together to support the future of this great community.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
First play from scrimmage for Batesville after the missed field goal attempt is Dylan Shane out of the shotgun and rumbled for a few yards, picked up a 2 on the play, 2 hard-earned yards on that. So it'll be a 2nd and 8 Batesville at their own 22-yard line. 5.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Bulldogs trail Triton Central 8-7. Shane under center. Backstyling the eye, rolling out to his right, now throws left and dumps it out on a little screen pass and kicking it back out and trying to get away from one man, gets away from another. Finally got to be wrestled down and hemmed in on that sideline. And Zayden Small, the receiver on that one, catching the pass out of the backfield. And that's a little bit of a new wrinkle, Rob, seeing Small catching the pass out of the backfield.
Yep, and coming out of the flat, and it was Shane over here rolling out to the near and then firing just across the body. Camden Kaiser trying to give Small a little bit more room and does. Only 4 yards to go here on the third down for the Bulldogs.
So third and manageable, as Rob said. Ball at the 26-yard line. Head wide split to the near side. Backs lined up in an eye. Shane under center. Makes a handoff. Back to throw. Looking, firing to the near side. And it is caught and dropped at the 35-yard line, but not before picking up the first down. As number 15, Jackson Elston, the sophomore, who Coach Ulrich talked about on Coach's Corner this week, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza Monday nights at 6. Came up with a catch there and first down yardage.
Well, and he is a big target, and that's what Coach and I talked about, because he is about a 6'4", 6'5" frame, in terms of height, to give you at least a height comparison, very similar to what Cade Kaiser was for this Batesville program as a wide receiver.
Yep, 6'4", tips the Toledos at 180. Send a man in motion. That is Elston. And hand it off on the misdirection to Small. Small kicks it in the inside, now to the outside, bounces outside the hash mark, and finally wrestled down at the 49-yard line. Not before another big run there by Zayden Small. Did a lot of zigzagging there. Nice opening, and finally taken down for the Triton Central Tigers by Dallas Clark. But not before Small rips off his fresh set of 4.
Well, and the thing that time is, a lot of zigzagging, but for Zayden finally with some purpose. Now, he did have some more room because Shane was able to complete a pass one play prior, much like Triton Central. If you can open things up with the pass, that running's going to be a heck of a lot easier for you.
Yeah, it's amazing what that can do, just to keep the defense honest. Single wides on either side, backs in the eye, handed off to Small. Small bounces to the left side and does a cut pass and hurdles a man, and finally going to be taken down at the 49-yard line of the Triton Central Tigers. So another good gain there for Zayden Small, and able to get some daylight here, something that he had not seen a lot of on quite a few of the runs. So that's going to set up a 2nd and 7, pick up a 3 on the play.
Yeah, this is actually the first lengthy drive the entire night for Batesville because, you go to the 7 points on the board, the first 6, it's just because of one single play that Small was able to make. Now consistency starting to happen for this offense, but Batesville's got to finish.
Yeah, this is the part where you grow a lot in week 1, get a sustained drive going, pitch off to Small left side, and cuts it across the 45 and down to the 43-yard line. Finally taken down across the way, and we have several guys a little slow getting up there for the Batesville Bulldogs. One of those is Lance Weiler.
Yeah, Weiler's going to be helped off. It looks like to be just a cramp, and Annie during the timeout bringing up that Brown getting looked at for Triton Central just a couple minutes ago, dealing with some of those cramps that we talked about is going to happen because such a drastic drop in temperature, which this is always a week 1, week 2, week 3 type of thing.
Yeah, you have those nights where it's very humid and things of that nature, and then a night like tonight where it was perfect, and then the temperature starts to drop, and that's when the cramps come in. So timeout with the clock stopped with 2:50. Now they roll the clock. Batesville now with a 3rd and 2 at the Triton Central 43-yard line. Shane calling out to his the play. Backs are split behind him. Tries to run forward, try to get a quarterback sneak going there. Looks like he's going to be
about a half yard shy.
Yeah, he's going to be close, but not quite. So that's going to bring up a 4th and short here.
And if you're Batesville, obviously, you're going to go for this. You've got enough manpower up front and even, behind to make this first down happen. Now the officials are going to discuss a little bit.
Yeah, of course, Batesville operating in Triton Central territory. I think they're trying to figure out the spot of the ball, and it looks like I think they've got it together. So very short yardage here. 4th and 1. Ball at the 42-yard line of the Triton Central Tigers as they go ahead and spot the ball there.
2 in the backfield.
Yep, backs are split behind Dylan Shane. Shane
pushes
there. Forward. He got it. And good push up front by that Batesville offensive line. As a matter of fact, he gained a couple, got it out to the 40-yard line. So we talked about that push up front, and Shane did the rest. So good job up front by the big road graders up front for the Batesville Bulldogs. So we'll set up a 1st and 10 Batesville at the Triton Central 39-yard line. 1:38 and counting here in the 3rd. Batesville trails it 8-7.
Going to see Kyle West come back out for Triton Central, a freshman out there, and Brown has got those cramps figured out. He'll return for the Tigers, 2 on the defensive side.
Batesville quickly runs up to the huddle. Trenton Jordan split to the near side. Backs lined up in an eye. Jordan goes in motion. Handed off to Zayden Small. Small goes to the left side. Cuts to the outside the numbers. And finally going to be corralled and taken out of bounds on the far sideline in front of the Batesville bench. And that's going to pick up a 2 on the play. It'll be a 2nd and 8 as we are now in 1 minute to go here in the 3rd quarter.
It's been a quick-moving 3rd quarter.
It really has been. Yeah, it seemed like this game all, by and large, has gone by quickly. So 45 seconds and counting. Batesville line of scrimmage, single wide to the near side. Backs are lined up in an eye. Dylan Shane under center. Takes the handoff, rolling out to his right. Shane with some protection up front. Look at fit, and a pass is deflected, and that was McClure coming up with that deflection. He just skied for it to Connor McClure. And an incomplete pass will stop the clock with exactly 32 seconds remaining in the quarter. So there'll be a timeout will be taken as well.
Yeah, when you look at McClure, he's 6'2", really long wingspan. So he's just able to throw that up and tip that and stop this clock.
And we do have an injury timeout for one of the Triton Central Tigers is down around the 40-yard line. So while they attend to him, we'll take a timeout as well. 32 seconds to go in the 3rd. Triton Central 8, Batesville 7 on WRBI TV and the WRBI app.
The Batesville and Milan varsity football teams are joining forces to turn over hunger this football season. All donations will be granted to the Weekend Backsack program, which sends a backpack of food home with hungry students in Ripley County schools. Help turn over hunger and send your donation to the Ripley County Community Foundation 13 East George Street, Suite B, Batesville, or donate online at rccfonline.org. That's rccfonline.org.
Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep is a proud sponsor of local athletics. I'm Michelle Galk, and at Batesville Chrysler, we value this community and the relationships we've built with our customers. As your hometown car dealer, we understand the importance of staying connected to the community. We commend all our student athletes and their hard work and dedication. That's why we're proud to sponsor local sports coverage so that fans can stay connected no matter where we are. Remember, you can buy a car anywhere, but when you buy at Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, we can all work together to support the future of this great community.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
32 seconds to go. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Hurt and Elko, Ripley County Community Foundation, Batesville Dental, and Whitewater Motors. Batesville at the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10 at the Triton Central 22-yard line after the injury timeout. Take the handoff, rolling out, firing upfield, and toward the right side of the end zone, and his intended receiver on that one was sailing way over the head of Jackson Elston, and he had some company back there as well. So even at his height advantage and his jumping ability, not able to come up with that. So incomplete pass will stop the clock with 26 seconds remaining. It'll be a 2nd down and 10 for Batesville at the Triton Central 22-yard line, and the injury was Kai West. Who came up with, it looks like, cramps, so he had to be helped off, and he's being attended to on the near sideline. Shane, under center, pitch it and gives it off in the backfield to Small. Small cuts it to the outside, goes left side with it, rumbling, stumbling, and finally going to be taken down across the way. And not before he got a little bit of breathing room and picked up, we're going to say, about 6 on the play. So that's going to set up a 3rd and short, 3rd and 4, but that will probably be the last play of the quarter, and I believe that is it. And that will, in fact, be the last play of the quarter. So your score after 3 periods, the Triton Central Tigers 8, the Batesville Bulldogs 7. Back with 4th quarter action after this on WRBI TV and the WRBI app.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI. Left, or driving toward downtown Batesville, as it were, as we begin quarter number 4. The Bulldogs break the huddle. 3rd and 4, so a very manageable down and distance here.
I really liked in the 3rd quarter offensively. Batesville is starting to throw a little bit more in the arsenal offensively. Shane's starting to look a little bit more comfortable, so is Zayden Small. We got a lot of movement on the line. Are we going to throw anything, or are we just going to go ahead and get everyone set back up?
Yeah, I think the referee's discretion, they said they're going to go ahead and let everybody go ahead and get set up, so they do exactly that.
Everyone get a wiggle in.
There you go. Paxton and I send a man in motion to the far side. Take the handoff and get it off to Small. Small gets away from one man, cuts it to the outside, hurdles a man at the 15, and forward to the 10-yard line before he's taken out of bounds. But tell you what, that's quite the hurdle jump there by Zayden Small, and we do have the defender, the man who made the tackle for the Triton Central Tigers, down on the field. Looks like he's going to have to be attended to.
He's going to be able to get helped up at least get over here to the sideline. That's going to be number 55, Dallas Clark, not the former Colt Gray, by the way.
No, and he has an E on his name as well.
And he's also got a leg cramp.
Yeah, he does, and I'm sure the other Dallas Clark had more than a few, but yeah, this Dallas Clark is going to have to be assisted to the near side bench. Didn't have far to go, but So he made the tackle and came up with the leg cramp. So it's going to be they have not moved the. They're going to say it's a.
Should be a first and goal, but
yeah.
are they saying that there was a?
Apparently there was a marker.
There was a penalty marker somewhere. I did not see it.
I didn't either.
And by the way, Zayden Small was very fortunate. He did not get absolutely annihilated because he had that defender with no blocking on this near side on the O-line, but his speed was able to escape him. It looks like this is going to go against Batesville.
Yeah, it is. They're the officials marking it backward. So did not see what it was, and it's going to be a hold. Will be whistled against the Bulldogs. So that's going to mark them back 10 and take it to the 27-yard line.
And all of a sudden, this makes it 3rd and 14. So what should have been a first down, or at least close to it, now you got 14 yards to go, but Batesville is in 4-down territory.
So Bulldogs break the huddle. Single wides to either side. Backs are lined up in the I. Zayden Small dots the I. Under center is Dylan Shane. Takes a handoff, rolls out to his right, looking, firing, and it is almost intercepted about the 3rd or 4th time tonight that Triton Central could have come up with a pick, and Batesville very lucky. Luke Strong getting a hand on that there in the open field.
Well, usually 3rd time's the charm, but it wasn't.
No.
Someone's looking down on the Batesville offense with these near turnovers tonight.
So that's going to set up a 4th down. Of course, it is 4th down territory, but it is going to be Brady Wannell coming on for the field goal attempt, and they're going to spot it at the 34, so that's going to make it a 44-yard attempt off to our left.
He's got the leg, by the way, to hit this.
Snap back, the kick is up, and plenty of distance, and just sneaks over the crossbar, and it is good. So a 44-yard field goal by Brady Wannell, and gives Batesville the lead back 10-8 with 11:41 to go in the 4th. We'll be back after this on WRBI TV and the WRBI app.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI. Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
Out there on Whitlow. So with that, Triton Central takes over a 1st and 10 with 11:34 to go in regulation. Batesville with a 10-8 lead. Tonight's game also brought to you in part by Margaret Mary Health, Fleetwood Chevrolet, and Great Plains Communications. And we have one of the Bulldogs. Now they have a number on him, but he's laying down and getting attended to with a cramp. Obviously, trying to get that worked out. So. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, Rob, about those cramps. You know, at this time of night, you had a really nice day, and then the temperature starts to drop once the sun goes down, and and the cramps start happening.
Yeah, as soon as that sun was shining, you know, you're able to play through, but sun goes down in a hurry tonight, and this is going to require a couple Bulldogs to come out and help the injured player off the field. And jerseys bunched up, so still not getting a number. Looks like 66, which that would be Preston Blessing if that's the case. It is Blessing.
Yep, yeah, so he's going to have to hop off on his right foot. It was his left calf that was bothering him on the cramp. So it'll be a 1st and 10, Triton Central. The ball at their own 21-yard line. They trail Batesville 10-8 after a Brady Wanell 44-yard field goal from the left hash and off to our left. Didn't clear it by much, but it cleared. I mean, this isn't the Olympics where you get style points.
Nope, and no Russian judge out there either.
No. Pitch it, and running out to the left side is Braden Brown, and Brown bounces it outside the numbers. Got a good gain on that. We're going to give him about 4. Matthew Berrien on the stop for the Batesville defense.
Going to be 2nd down and 6. And now Batesville's defense has got a hold. You know, they have had plenty of possessions tonight where the defense has been stellar. They plugged things up. And this has got to be one of those. You're in the driver's seat. No one said this had to be a pretty win tonight. You just want it to be a W.
That's right. 1-0 and 0-1. Big difference. Wilkins out of the shotgun, hands it off to Brown, goes right up the middle, and finally scoots there, gets the 1st down yardage, but not before he's finally cartwheeled at midfield. And coming up in the stop for the Batesville defense is number 55, Aiden Grivey. But it will be a 1st down for the Triton Central Tigers, just like that, at the 35-yard line in TC territory.
One thing I will say, because Aiden was a guy that Coach mentioned earlier this week, a guy who was under all that senior class from a year ago, he has quietly put together a pretty solid night defensively.
So the Tigers break the huddle, and Wilkins operating out of the shotgun as he has for the majority of the evening, as Brown to his right hip, claps, looks left, now throws left and dumps it off, and finally caught on the near sideline. Coming up with that reception for the Triton Central Tigers was number 18, Devin Garganis.
And guess who on the tackle again? Grivey.
Uh-huh. Yep. You mentioned him, and as Rob mentioned, he has put together a really good night to this point. You're getting his first chance to star under the Friday night lights. So a pickup of 4 on that pass play. It'll be 2nd and 6. Triton Central at their own 39-yard line, 9:48 and counting here in the 4th.
Got Matthew Mayer lined up here with Lance Weiler on the near side of the D-line. Now a bit of a switch. You're going to move Weiler to the outside. Kaiser's going to come in, and Kaiser just missed Brown back there. Now he wraps him up.
Trying to run up the middle was Braden Brown, and got a little bit of daylight, and then that gap quickly closed. Finally, Cam Kaiser coming up with that stop, about tore his jersey off there. We saw that fabric stretching there. So they're going to mark him back at the line of scrimmage.
He wants it bad enough. Trust me, if he gets burned, he'll catch up.
Oh, yeah.
And he did right there. I mean, he grabbed 2 handfuls of jersey and just wrestled them around like a rag doll.
I think that jersey stretched about a good 3 yards, it seemed like.
Just trying to get some flexibility out of the old jersey.
That's right. Yeah, test it. See if it's battle tested, that type of thing. 3rd and 6, ball to 39, back to throw, and fumble as Wilkins tried to go for the pass. His arm might have been deflected, and able to come up with it, one of the Triton Central Tigers, but very dangerous there. Batesville almost coming up with the turnover, but one of the guys in green came up with it. He just not able to come up with it. He went back to throw, and I believe his arm got ticked, and ended up dropping it. So it's going to set up a 4th and 12, Triton Central back at their own 33-yard line.
So the defense holds, and now you've got Trenton Jordan over there to return the punt for Batesville.
Termolin, high snap, kicks it off and gets it off, and it's going to bounce inside the 30, take a huge Triton Central bounce inside the 20, still rolling inside the 15, and it's going to be down at the 14-yard line. So a fortuitous bounce there for the Triton Central Tigers on that punt by Nicholas Termolin. So that's where Batesville will start out 1st and 10 at their own 14-yard line. And it'll be interesting to see, Rob, if they can put together a sustained drive with 8 minutes to go here and eat some clock.
Well, the defense went ahead and did its job, and they're able to help maintain this 10-8 lead. And now you've got this offense out, which you've got a prime-time opportunity. You're not going to be able to milk it all, but you got a chance to milk a lot of time here at the 8-minute mark.
Yeah, just chew up a lot of clock there. A good opportunity there, and quite frankly, a growth opportunity as well for this Batesville offense as the Bulldogs break the huddle.
I think the big challenge is, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, going from right to left as we're looking at things here, driving toward downtown. Out of the shotgun is Shane. He's going to run it, fake the handoff, and runs it to the left side of the formation, cooks it inside between the hash marks, and finally dropped at the 18-yard line.
What I was going to say is, Geisel's not here. Kaiser, Dance, guys that know how to win in these situations and know how to sustain drives offensively. So this is your first big winning time challenge if you're this new-look Batesville offense.
Yeah, as they say, those guys aren't walking through the door, and you're right, Rob. They absolutely did that quite a bit. They made careers out of it. So pick up a 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 6, ball at the 17-yard line. Hand it off to Small. Small runs up the middle, gets away from one man, and finally gets it across the first down yardage and gets it inside the 30, down to the 31-yard line. So another huge run there by Zayden Small. And he was able to finally get some daylight there. And, of course, he getting over his early frustrations. Of course, he ripped off the 75-yarder at the end of the first quarter to get Batesville on the scoring to begin the scoring in this one. So a 1st and 10, Bulldogs at their own 31.
Get ready to run this clock here. Now we are off and going. I mean, you're now a third play away from going ahead and getting this down to the midway mark of the 4th.
Snap back to Shane. He's going to run it right up the middle. Gets another first down all the way down inside the 45. Going to take it to the 46-yard line. Shane with good recognition on his part, able to run it up the middle, bust it, and we have a Batesville Bulldog down across the way. And so another player timeout. And we will not speculate, obviously, but still just Shane absolutely showing something there.
Yeah, this one maybe looks a little bit of a different injury variety. Yeah. What a run up the middle by Dylan Shane. You now got Shane who's able to run. You've got Small starting to run. So that's going to be the bread and butter until the passing game can get figured out.
So while they attend to the unidentified Batesville player, we're going to go ahead and take a timeout. 6:58 to go in the 4th period. Your score, Batesville 10, Triton Central 8 on WRBI TV and the WRBI app. Yes.
Hey, football fans. While Ivy Tech Community College doesn't have a football team, what it does have is your play to a great future. Earn a short-term certificate to quickly get into a high-wage, high-demand career. Earn your associate degree in a wide variety of programs for a more affordable transfer to a bachelor's degree. Classes are offered in person and online at the Lawrenceburg and Batesville locations. For more information, email r11express@ivytech.edu.
Make some time to visit your local Napa store, Vaguely Napa Auto in downtown Batesville. This month, you'll find Toolbox brand shop towels, $2.69 a roll. Napa Full Synthetic Motor Oil, $5.39 a quart. WD-40, $7.49 for a 12-ounce can. Napa Diesel Exhaust Fluid, 2.5 gallons for $12.99. And Xerex Pre-Diluted Antifreeze starting at $13.99 a gallon. It's all at your local Napa store, Vaguely Napa Auto in downtown Batesville.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
For the injury timeout, Dylan Shane calls his own number, runs it up the middle, gets 2 on the play, 2nd and 8 Batesville at their own 48-yard line. And the injured player was Trenton Jordan, and he was helped off to the sideline, across the way, and Shane going to call his own number once again. He bounces it outside the numbers and finally wrestled down right at midfield So Dylan Shane, it's been a steady diet of him on this drive. He ran it up the middle. This time runs it to the outside. So he's going to set up a pickup one on the play. So it's going to be a 3rd and 7 Batesville. Ball resting at the 49-yard line in Bulldog territory.
Yeah, and this is going to be your part of the playbook where this is all about just that possession time and taking time off, as Shane's been very successful here on the drive. Plus, it's going to give Small just a little bit of a break, but don't worry, he's still very much so a part of the offense.
Yes.
And now you've got actually Herbert going to go back there now for Batesville instead of Small.
And fake the handoff, and it's going to be Shane, runs it to the outside, gets away from one man, finally gets the necessary yardage for the first down and then some. So a nice fake the handoff to Herbert in the backfield, and Shane calls his own number, bounces it outside the numbers, and picks up another fresh set of downs in Triton Central territory. Going to mark the ball at the Tiger 41.
So just picking up things, being a leader from that quarterback spot. I'm really surprised that Triton Central's not had much of an answer for him, but again, this is a different kind of runner, even out of the quarterback spot. He's a guy who can gut things up the middle. Small's a guy we've talked about. He wants to zig and zag around. Herbert remains out there. Now we go back to Small. He's lined up to the left of Shane.
And fake the handoff, and it's going to be Shane running up the middle, and he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage, and not much else. But that time Triton Central ready for him.
And we are already down all the way to 4.5 minutes. Maybe they can run this thing down as much as they can.
And no question. So they're going to pick up one on the play. And it's going to be a 2nd and 9. And a timeout will be taken by Tim Abel and the Triton Central Tigers with 4:30 to go in the ball game. And 10-8 is your score at Batesville. And I'll tell you that tonight's game brought to you in part by Margaret Mary Health, Fleetwood Chevrolet, and Great Plains Communications. I think our fine sponsors, and a lot of them longtime sponsors of high school football on WRBI.
Taking a look at some scores from around the area tonight. Third quarter, East Central leading Lawrenceburg 33-12. Third quarter, Lake Milan 27, Rushville 12. Third quarter running clock in Greensburg. North Decatur leads South Decatur 54-0. And then other third quarter scores, Shelbyville leads Greensburg 27-14. South Dearborn on top of Jennings County 27-6. We'll see South Dearborn in a couple of weeks. And Connorsville on top of Richmond 27-7. And plus, newly across a halftime score, Newcastle blanking Franklin County 13-0. Franklin County very much so in a similar situation that Batesville is in. They lost a lot of offense from a year ago. That includes your star quarterback, Quinn Gilman.
Yeah, no question. And, of course, we heard the comments of Coach Wes Gilman Monday night on Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza, and talking about all those skill guys. And, and he pretty much said the same thing. Mirror image, similar to what Batesville's going through, a lot of holes to plug and get some new faces in there. So with that, it will be a 2nd and 9 Batesville at the Triton Central 40-yard line. 4:30 to go in the contest. Batesville up by 2. Dump it off to Small. Small tries to go up the middle and got back to the 40, and that was it. And he picked up one on the play. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. So Triton Central's going to go ahead just like that, take their second timeout, and comes with 4:22 to go. We'll take a timeout as well. Be back with more after this on WRBI TV and the WRBI app.
Cool off with hot internet savings from Great Plains Communications. We know summers are blazing, but your internet bill doesn't have to be. Take advantage of our unbeatable prices on fast, reliable internet powered by our expanding fiber network. Whether you're streaming, gaming, or working from home, our local teams are here to bring you unmatched service and support because we live and work right here in your community. Lock in your hot internet savings today from your trusted provider, Great Plains Communications. Visit gpcom.com today.
When it comes to you and your family's health, finding a primary care provider you can trust makes all the difference. At Margaret Mary Health, our providers aren't just here for you when you're sick. They're dedicated to being your long-term partners in health. If you're looking for a medical provider to help keep your family well, give us a call or visit us online. Our primary care providers are accepting new patients in Batesville, Brookville, Osgood, and Milan. Margaret Mary Health.
And it's a 3rd and 9, handed off to Small, and we've got a penalty marker across the way before Small could get anything. He was tackled across the way, but hold everything. We'll see what this penalty marker is about. And tonight's game brought to you in part by Bruns Gottsweiler, Decatur County Memorial Hospital, and Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep. And that's going to go against Batesville. So Batesville's facing a 3rd and 9. It's going to be a 3rd and longer now after the penalty is marked off.
You know, if you're Batesville right now, do you try and go with a pass play here to at least take enough of a chunk and maybe put Juan L back in a situation where he can at least attempt a kick?
And right now the officials discussing things. Also, Tim Abel, Triton Central's Hall of Fame coach, trying to get an explanation as well. And now the referee is going to come to the near side and talk to one of his colleagues and discuss it with Tim Abel. I'm not exactly sure what they're discussing.
Perhaps it's what's open in Batesville for dinner at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Well, Ison's Family Pizza's open till 11 on Fridays and Saturdays now.
Penalty's been declined.
Yeah, it was a holding penalty, so that's going to be declined.
Speaking of Ison's, hey, Coach's Corner Monday night.
That's right.
Delivered by Ison's Family Pizza. I'll be back over. 6 o'clock start. Couple confirmed guests already. Batesville head coach Evan Alwery will be with us, as well as Batesville cheer coach Timmy Jones. Going to talk about the new look Lady Bulldog cheer squad in 2025.
Sebastian Hall back in punt formation, standing inside Batesville territory. And a rush kick by Triton Central. They tried to get for St. Hall, and it's going to bounce into the end zone. And one of the Tigers was back, and he kind of elated a little bit, and I think his teammates said it was a little too close for comfort the way that ball was bouncing around, but for Triton Central took a ball, bounced into the end zone. So with that, it's going to come back out, and we have another player down at midfield. Again, I believe that's
not going to speculate.
No, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what. Can't tell if it's a Triton Central or Batesville player, because
I believe it's Triton Central.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
The green pants are starting to see a shade of green come out from under.
Yep, you're right. Of course, both teams were with white helmets, and so that can only, and it is someone from Triton Central.
Well, based on my experiences in high school and now teaching, I do know green still and got a pretty good idea of blue, so. It's going to be number 18 for Triton Central. That's going to be Devin Garganis, 5'11" wide receiver, and so he will walk off. And speaking of wide receivers, are we going to see Triton Central now go to the pass to try and march their way? A field goal wins it for you. Any score, for that matter, is going to win this one for you tonight, depending on how much time is left on that clock. But Tigers are in position to strike for a go-ahead score. Batesville defense trying to hold what possibly could be one more time, because TC, I believe, only now with just one timeout remaining in the fourth.
Yep, you're correct. 4:02 remaining in the fourth period. 1st and 10, Triton Central back at their own 20-yard line. Throw the pass and dump it out to the near side, and finally taken out of bounds, but not before getting the first down yardage. And coming up with that is number 9, Zeke Robertson, the senior flanker. Just set up shop around the numbers, and finally took the fine pass. Good throw there by Wilkins. And it's going to take it down to the 34-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Triton Central Tigers. A good sign for them, picking up the first down on the first play from scrimmage.
It's not been consistent, but Wilkins has made some passes tonight that have looked good. That one right there, Robertson, was one.
Operating out of the shotgun, as he has for most of the night, is Matthew Wilkins. Claps his hands. Back to throw, looking near side, and almost tipped and telegraphed that as the pass was intended for Braden Whitlow and defended at the last second by Ethan Schneider. Good read on Schneider's part. Almost came up with, if he could have held on to that run back 6 the other way, but still well defended there by Schneider.
Yeah, Schneider's one of those guys that I think as the year goes along is only going to get better. Someone who hit that injury bug just about like everyone else for Batesville last year at some point in time. So he's able to finally come up with a big play, and so now here we are in 2nd and 10. The clock is stopped at 3:53.
Back to throw is Wilkins. Looks left side and dumps it off to Kermillan, and get it off to Robertson, Robertson is able to dance around and finally get the necessary yardage for the first down. Takes it down to the Triton Central 48-yard line. So good pitch and catch there. Once again, another crisp pass on the part of Matthew Wilkins, the junior signal caller, his first varsity experience, or at least as the starting quarterback. Giving the keys to the offense by Tim Abel and company. 1st and 10. Back to throw is Wilkins. Looks, firing, and ball knocked at the line of scrimmage, but they're going to say it was hit the turf before number 2, Wilkins able to come up with it. Thought that he had deflected his own pass back to him, but it was an incomplete pass. Hit the turf. So that stops the clock with 3:29 to go. It'll be a 2nd and 10. Triton Central at their own 48-yard line.
Yeah, a couple guys around there on the coverage for Batesville. Preston Blessing, who is back from the leg cramp out on the field, he was one. And again, I'm going to say 54. That's Matthew Mayer. Seems like it's been a steady diet of Mayer and Grivey defensively, but now Schneider into the mix and Blessing into the mix.
Operating out of the gun is Wilkins. Back to throw, and there's going to be a timeout. And penalty flag. It's going to be whistled dead because of the penalty. A false start is going to be whistled against the Triton Central Tigers.
Not the time to get a false start.
No.
And that's, I believe, the second false start. They've had now 7-8 penalties in this game. Now, credit to them, the holding penalties that went away here in the second half. That false start, though, is going to be a killer as you're trying to march.
So that will take it back to the 43-yard line. It'll be a 2nd and 15 Triton Central. Ball at the Tiger 43 with 3:27 to go in regulation.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. Snap back to Wilkins, rolls out to his left, firing upfield, and is caught inside the 45. And
Robertson
coming up with
again.
it, that Robertson guy, once again, comes with it is Zeke Robertson. And finally got to be down at the 45-yard line in Batesville territory. So a big pickup there. So it's going to set up a 3rd and 3 for the Triton Central Tigers at the Batesville 45-yard line, just inside 3 minutes to go. Back to the line of scrimmage and operating out of the gun once again. Send a man in motion to the far side. That's Robertson. They dump it out. And caught on the far sideline, getting first down and then some. He's got some running room. Finally going to be taken out of bounds down around the Batesville 31-yard line. But not before Braden Brown able to advance it downfield and in the Batesville territory down to the 32-yard line is where they're going to mark him out of bounds. So another first down for the Triton Central Tigers.
We're going to get a timeout for Batesville.
Yep, so that will be their first. And comes with 2:40 to go in the ball game. Your score, Batesville 10, Triton Central 8 on WRBI TV and the WRBI app.
Of care. When it comes to you and your family's health, finding a primary care provider you can trust makes all the difference. At Margaret Mary Health, our providers aren't just here for you when you're sick. They're dedicated to being your long-term partners in health. If you're looking for a medical provider to help keep your family well, give us a call or visit us online. Our primary care providers are accepting new patients in Batesville, Brookville, Osgood, and Milan. Margaret Mary Health. Generations of care.
The most and best high school sports is on WRBI.
To go in the ball game, Batesville 10, Triton Central 8. However, the Triton Central Tigers are driving. They have a 1st and 10 at the Batesville 32-yard line. Triton Central down to 1 timeout. Batesville has 2 remaining. So the Tigers back to the line of scrimmage, operating out of the shotgun as he has for most of the night. Matthew Wilkins pitches it backwards and dumps it off to the That's his other back, and he's able to get some good yardage out of that. That is Bo West. So West able to spell Brown effectively, and finally is taken down at the Batesville 26-yard line. So that's going to set up a 2nd and 4 for the Tigers at the Batesville 26 as we approach the 2-minute mark.
Yeah, it looked like Lancaster and Blessing were around the team up for the tackle. This is a situation much like Triton Central had in the first quarter where they were able to drive this easily. And now Batesville's got to go back to bend. Don't break.
Wilkins dumps it off to West. West cuts it to the left side and tried to cut it inside, but before he could get a head of steam going, he was taken down by Caden Vogelsane. And got to be very close to first down yardage. He's got to be short by about a yard, so that's going to set up a 3rd and short.
Batesville still got a couple timeouts to play with. Triton Central, though, with just one. We're trickling down to that 1.5-minute mark.
Tigers break the huddle quickly. And doing a little cowboy move here. set it up, and it was going to sneak by... That was West was the ball carrier, tried to sneak there, a little trick play. I don't know that and the official said that he did make it. So got enough of a push up front. So that's going to place the ball at the 20-yard line. So that will keep the drive alive for the Triton Central Tigers. And Batesville will take a timeout. That will be their 2nd timeout. Comes with 1:16 to go in the 4th period. Your score, Batesville 10, Triton Central 8 on WRBI TV and the WRBI app.
The most and best high school sports is on WRBI.
Once again, is minute 16 remaining in the 4th period. Some high drama here. Triton Central with a 1st and 10 at the Batesville 20-yard line. The Tigers, have, to their credit, have put together a pretty good drive here. And again, this is a team just like Batesville with a lot of new faces and things of that nature. Some younger guys getting the sprinkled in amongst a few veterans, but this is your opportunity to grow as an offense and put something together. Right now, Triton Central's doing exactly that.
Yeah, and you can see. I mean, you can obviously see that these are relatively new groups, especially offensively, but they have grown before our eyes throughout this ball game. I don't think either one of these teams could make drives like they have in the 4th quarter all the way back in the 1st. So we'll see if Triton Central finishes here. We're out of the timeout, and they're on the run.
And give it off to Brown. Brown cuts it to the outside, runs to the left side of the formation, and got a huge gain on that one on the handoff from Wilkins, where he was finally escorted out of bounds along the far sideline. They're going to mark him out at the Batesville 15-yard line. And the clock will stop with 1:10 after Brown ran out of bounds. So that's going to set up a 2nd and 5 at the Batesville 15-yard line. One of those 2nd and manageable, those stay on schedule type plays right there.
Yep, and they're starting to just get 2 or 3 guys involved, much like Batesville has here in the 4th quarter, because we've seen Dylan Shane start to run for Batesville, and now for Triton Central, a couple guys are going to go back, however, though, to Brown.
And Brown runs it off the right side and gets it inside the 15 down to the 18, so 2 hard-earned yards there for Braden Brown. And Sebastian Hall getting up off the bottom of the pile for the Batesville Bulldogs. So 58 seconds remaining, 57.9 if you want to split hairs. We got another timeout, so it looks like I think Batesville had called it.
It's going to be an injury timeout.
Yeah, an injury timeout, excuse me.
Keep it right here, at least for this one.
Yeah, because once again, one of the Batesville players shaken up. And going to be a score to
now
cross the way.
Now we're going to get the official timeout, Batesville, but we can still keep it here.
That's right. Yeah, why not, chit-chat a little bit. So, again, that's a 3rd and 2. That's facing Triton Central and Batesville at the Batesville 12-yard line, 57.9 seconds. Again, Batesville with a 10-8 lead. Our Triton Central knocking at the door.
Yeah, and, I feel like Brown has gotten himself back in the mix. I feel like for a while here in the second half, Batesville did a good job of taking him away. Now, however, leading up to Brown here the last couple of plays, Robertson really big for this team, for this Triton Central team. He's made a couple catches, so, being able, again, just to get extra guys in the mix, you'll see that more and more. I was going to add on this earlier, but, again, with these young teams, tonight's not going to be the grade A that you want. You would much rather have this learning curve now than come September late in the conference race. In October when it comes to the postseason, they're going to get better. You see the potential tonight. Process for both, maybe a little bit different, but nonetheless, still got to give it a few weeks.
3rd and 2, Triton Central at the Batesville 12-yard line. 57.9 seconds remaining. Now we're going to put it at exactly 1 minute. So the official said that it needs to be at 1. So, of course, they keep the time on the field as well. So they say exactly 1 minute. Now the shotgun is Matthew Wilkins. Send a man in motion to the near side. That's McClure. Take the handoff, looking, going over the middle, and off the hand of his intended receiver, trying to make the dive and the one-handed grab, not able to come up with it. And that intended receiver was Braden Whitlow. So an incomplete pass stops the clock with 55.6 seconds.
Think if he would have made that catch, if you're Batesville, you just got to go over and shake his hand and say, wow, what a catch, because that looked like a shortstop going for a line drive up the middle. The left paw is outstretched, just unable to grab. But this is a huge 4th down if you're Batesville or Triton Central. You're looking to extend the drive. Batesville can pretty much seal the deal with stopping on a 4th down, but field goal attempt. Triton Central's going to go for it.
Nicholas Termolin, a 30-yard attempt. He's in the middle between the hash marks. It is up, and it is good. Splitting the uprights. Nicholas Termolin with 51.8 seconds remaining, and that will give the Triton Central Tigers the 11-10 lead over the Batesville Bulldogs. 51.8 seconds remaining in the ball game. So Nicholas Termolin drills the 30-yarder right in the middle. He was right between the hash marks and just drilled it right down Main Street.
He just really thought that maybe there's only been one kick tonight for Triton Central, which did not go their way. So you thought maybe you go ahead and go for it, but they put all that trust in, and it pays off. That was a heck of a kick, and there was a no-doubter.
Yep, Termolin, of course, kicked for them last year. 6'2", 165 pounds, a senior. He just absolutely drilled it. I mean, he had plenty of distance and plenty of height on that one. As one of the Triton Central Tigers is going to walk off, that's Wyatt Viles. He was attended to momentarily. Now he's going to walk off to the near sideline. So the boys from western Shelby County with the 11-10 lead over Batesville, 51.8 seconds remaining. So Termolin getting ready to kick it off. Batesville going from right to left as we're looking at things here.
Well, we know Batesville doesn't need a ton of time.
Nope.
But a good return here would do wonders.
So we're about ready to get things rolling here once again. And this scoring drive brought to you by Assured Partners Insurance in Batesville. See David Ball. Nicholas Termolin, a 30-yard field goal attempt. And he booted it right down, right through the uprights.
Like there was a vendetta against a car on I-74.
Yeah.
Heading that way.
He could have drilled somebody if he had gotten it just right. You never know. So he advances on the ball. And it is fielded at the 10. Cutting it inside, faking the handoff. And they will get it off to one of the up men. That little trick play gets it to the 20, inside the 25, down
Flag.
to the 28. And there is a flag. Came in from the back end from where Triton Central kicked it off.
And that's some trickery, but you could smell it a mile away. I mean, it was clear as day that they were waiting to lateral that thing off.
And I think they've seen this play before, too, because Batesville has employed that in the past, where they have a man waiting and either fake the handoff or he goes ahead and takes it. And they were ready for it.
If this would go against Triton Central, this would be big for Batesville. It's a hold, and it's against Batesville.
So instead, going to back them up. Got a pretty decent return out of it. That's going to take it back 10 yards.
So you're looking now 1st and 10. It looks like this is going to go all the way back to the 20.
Yep. Exactly.
So you got to go 80 yards in 41 seconds.
Yep, so it will go back at the 20. Batesville breaks the huddle. Some wide receivers on either side. Rylan Yeager to the near side. Going to the far side, they have Shane operating out of the shotgun. Zayden Small on his right hip. Snap back. Shane looks to throw, looks left, throws up the middle, airs it out, and trying to go to the middle, and is caught and is intercepted across the way by the Triton Central Tigers. They're going to say he was out of bounds, so looked like he had it momentarily, but the officials say he was out of bounds at the front of the Batesville bench across the way, and that's going to be an incomplete pass. We'll stop the clock with 35 seconds.
Going to see a Triton Central player go down. Seth Richardson, number 54.
Yeah, Richardson, of course, their nose guard.
That's what now, probably 4 times. We could almost say that Triton Central should have had an interception tonight.
Yep.
You know, Batesville has made some plays every now and then tonight, but they've also been very fortunate on a few plays with the pass game and with Shane.
So Richardson, the 5'10", 245-pound senior nose guard, being attended to. But so 35 seconds remaining. It'll be a 2nd and 10 Bulldogs at their own 20-yard line. Again, they trail it 11-10. Right now the difference is a 30-yard field goal with 52 seconds remaining. And again, just like last year, these two teams got together. They had a really good contest, and this game no exception, as Richardson will be assisted off and hopping off on his left foot. Not able to put any weight on his right foot. So we'll see what happened with Batesville and Evan Ulrey and offensive coordinator Tim Belmer are able to dial up here. Backs in the eye, single wides on either side. Shane under center. And handoff. Going to roll out and finally dump it off to Smalls out in the flat. He has it to the near side, bounces outside the numbers, down to the 35 and all the way down to the 42-yard line before he's taken out of bounds on that little screen pass there to Zayden Small. So a lot of breathing room there, so a huge gain there for the Batesville Bulldogs, and it'll stop the clock with 22 seconds after Smalls went out of bounds. Small dot the I, under center is Shane, and we've got a timeout. And
got to get, looks like we just got to get everyone reset. I don't think this is a timeout by either team. Just get everyone set up.
It's an official timeout.
You know what? If you're Batesville, obviously you would love 6, but I have mentioned this a couple times. You get in the Brady Wannell territory, you're giving yourself a shot for the win. Yeah,
no question. I mean, you demonstrated it earlier tonight, drilled a 44-yarder in the fourth quarter.
34, 44, 25, 25.
And they're trying to figure something out here. 25 seconds, so they got the clock. That's what it was, a clock issue. And they got set at 25 seconds. 1st and 10, Batesville at their own 43. And right now he's just taking a knee as Shane. It looked like he spiked it. So they're going to be a 2nd and 10. Ball remains at the 43-yard line. And Triton Central's going to peel off. Of course, they'll have the 3 down linemen up front. And just about everybody else is going to be going on back. They'll have a few midfielders, if you will, and 4 deep men. At least that's what they're showing early on. So 2nd and 10, Batesville, 43-yard line, 23 seconds remaining. Shane under center, backstop the I. Fake the handoff, rolling out to his right as Shane looks and comes to the near side with it to Zane Small on the near side. Small cannot get anywhere going. He caught it at the numbers at the 40-yard line. He was immediately taken down by number 80, Josh Sayer, a 6'2", 180-pound sophomore defensive end. and that's going to be a loss, and that's going to be a Batesville timeout. They have one remaining. That's going to be a 3rd and 12 facing the Bulldogs back at their own 40-yard line. So small losing yardage on that. Terrific defensive play there, open field tackle by Sayer.
Yeah, and at this point, you're discussing, okay, someone's got to get open downfield. This has got to be a pass play where you're at least getting the first down. You might be able to stop the clock then and move the chains and then spike it real quick to get yourself set up for one final play, depending on where you're going to be at on the field. You've got to look for a big target. Your biggest target would be Jackson Elston. Can you loft one up to him and see if the sophomore can go up and grab it? Or does Batesville try and get tricky again? Do you possibly pitch something out, then lateral it back out? Not a whole lot probably to discuss with an inexperienced offense in terms of big-time plays, but this is a learning moment regardless of the outcome.
And a man comes in late at the last minute. That's the up man in the I formation. Fake the handoff. Rolling out is Shane. Under some pressure, rolling out, looking, firing upfield, and he's going to throw it out of bounds and throw it to a teammate on the sideline.
Going to get one more play.
Yep. So that buys him one more. And a little tardy there was John Herbert getting in late. He finally got in, got set in time.
Was there a hanky thrown? Officials are over here. I did not see one toss.
I didn't see one, and the only thing I could think of was not enough men on the field, and they're going to wave it off. Whatever it was, but they're going to go ahead and wave it off. So 6.1 seconds remaining. 3rd and 12, Batesville. And the ball will be resting at the 40-yard line. So this is
Triton Central sending everyone back.
Yeah, they're just have the few down linemen. That's about it. Everybody's out playing center field.
It's like watching the kids at the home run derby.
Yeah. Snap back to Shane. Looks, fires upfield, pumps up, and it's going to be a jump ball on the far sideline. It sails out of bounds, and that is going to do it. Your final score, the Triton Central Tigers 11, the Batesville Bulldogs 10. Triton Central jumps out, has a 1-0 record to begin the season. Batesville ends it tonight 0-1. Again, your score, Triton Central 11, Batesville 10. We'll talk about it after this timeout. You're listening to high school football on WRBI TV and the WRBI app.
The most and best high school sports is on.
Make some time to visit.
Simmer and sear with confidence using a Maytag freestanding electric range with 5 elements, including a 9-inch and 6-inch dual choice element, variable broil, and warming center. You can knock out mealtime in no time. The steam clean cycle and fingerprint resistant stainless steel finish makes it easy to keep clean inside and out. Shop Garings today. Garings in Maytag, 316 North Main, Batesville.
Make some time to visit your local Napa store, Vaguely Napa Auto in downtown Batesville. This month, you'll find Toolbox brand shop towels, $2.69 a roll. Napa Full Synthetic Motor Oil, $5.39 a quart. WD-40, $7.49 for a 12-ounce can. Napa Diesel Exhaust Fluid, 2.5 gallons for $12.99. And Xerex Pre-Diluted Antifreeze, starting at $13.99 a gallon. It's all at your local Napa store, Vaguely Napa Auto in downtown Batesville.
It's back. Our delicious chicken bruschetta pizza is back. Cecil here. I'm interrupting this commercial for some important news. Our operating hours are changing to better serve our customers and to better take care of our team members. We will be closing at 8 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. That's right, our new hours are Sunday through Thursday from 10:30 a.m. to 8 p.m., then Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Come let us serve you. LicensedFamilyPizza.com, 812-933-0333, or 117 East George Street, downtown Batesville.
When it comes to you and your family's health, finding a primary care provider you can trust makes all the difference. At Margaret Mary Health, our providers aren't just here for you when you're sick. They're dedicated to being your long-term partners in health. If you're looking for a medical provider to help keep your family well, give us a call or visit us online. Our primary care providers are accepting new patients in Batesville, Brookville, Osgood, and Milan. Margaret Mary Health. Generations of care.
The most and best high school sports is on WRBI.
Welcome back to the Dog Pound. And the first game of the season is in the books. And it is the Triton Central Tigers coming down from Shelby County. And they're going to head back up I-74 to Fairland, home with an 11-10 win over the Batesville Bulldogs. Scoring rundown looks like this in the first quarter as a scoreless first period. And until the last play of the quarter, Zayden Small ripped off a 75-yard touchdown run. Brady Wannell added the extra point, and it was 7-0 Batesville going into the second period. In that quarter was also scoreless for the most part until 58.4 seconds remaining. Braden Brown with an 8-yard touchdown run. He added the 2-point conversion on the ground, and then Triton Central went into the locker room with an 8-7 lead. And after a scoreless third quarter, Batesville got back on the board. 11:41 to go. Brady Wannell drilled a 44-yard field goal. Barely got over the crossbar, but it did. And as we said earlier, great on style points, great on results, and he was able to get it through. And Batesville led 10-8. And it stayed that way until 52 seconds remaining in regulation. Nicholas Termolin with a 30-yard field goal. They had him set up right in the middle between the hash marks. He just drilled it toward I-74, and that's where things ended up. The final score tonight, the Triton Central Tigers 11, the Batesville Bulldogs 10. Rob LaFerry.
Yeah, overall, I think, and we'll talk about this with Coach Ulrey as a part of whether it's tonight or Monday night on Coach's Corner, talking about that I think that for his team after tonight, there's going to be that frustration because it is a loss, and you are starting the season at 0-1 and certainly had a couple opportunities to either hang on defensively or maybe do a couple things different offensively. But, this will end up being chalked up as a learning experience. It's a pretty much brand new group of guys out on the football field. And, yeah, you can be successful at the freshman level, at the JV level, but these guys who are getting this wake-up call to varsity, it's a completely different ball game. It's more physical. It's a quicker tempo. So I think a lot of guys found that out tonight. But like we have said time and time again this week, it's a process for this program. There were some bright spots to be seen tonight. I thought some different guys stepped up, especially on the defensive side of the football. You can't hang your hat about giving up 11 points only tonight. But obviously, in the grand scheme of the 2025 season, the offense is going to have to grow and improve each and every week. So I still think the best version of Batesville is still ahead, but there's going to be those growing pains early on. But give Triton Central all the credit tonight. They stepped up when they needed to late. You get a big field goal down the stretch. Your defense holds on. They are learning to do that as well. They just happen to be the one who learns a little bit quicker on this Friday night.
Yeah, and as they call it, the baptism of fire. And that's what a lot of the kids had to face, not only on the guys wearing blue and white, but also the guys wearing green and white as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There was, baptism by fire, I think, for Triton Central, but I think for them, especially where it helped them where they didn't have as much baptism tonight, was having Brown in the backfield, a experienced guy. Not that Zayden Small wasn't for Batesville a year ago, but, he's only a guy that in a backup role to Gage Pullman only rushes for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns last season. So there's a big learning experience, too, for him this year to be the go-to guy. But, when you look at Jackson Elston over on the offensive side of the football, defensively, we called Gage Lancaster's name tonight. Well, both of those guys are sophomores. They're just a couple years, just removed from playing middle school football. So there's going to be a lot of those moments early on for any type of program that is growing and brings a lot of youth to the equation. So you get baptized by the Flames tonight. but now you get a chance to go back, watch some film, and see some things and get ready for week number 2. But I will say this, whether you're Triton Central or Batesville on the schedule, week 2 is not much easier.
No, indeed. And, of course, as we mentioned, the Batesville Bulldogs will be entertaining the Milan Indians of Coach Ryan Lankfordman. We'll have that game next week on 103.9 FM. And our airtime will be 6:40, kickoff at 7 o'clock. And the Triton Central Tigers will have their home opener next week. They'll be taking on Hamilton Heights. So, as they say, it doesn't get any easier. But then, of course, Tim Abel, just like Evan Ulrey, wanting to schedule those hard teams, those iron sharpens iron type of matchups, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you take a look at Triton Central, with them moving over that Hoosier Legends Conference this season, after that Hamilton Heights game, I mean, my goodness, Tri-West, Monrovia, Speedway, you've got Indian Creek later on the year. It's a conference opponent. We talk about the EIAC being a difficult brand of football. I think that Hoosier Legends Conference is probably going right up there, too, because with Tri-West, you obviously are getting a state title contender in 3A because of Jack Sorgi playing quarterback. Monrovia has been a really solid 2A program. Speedway's always in there in Class 3A. And then for Batesville, Milan is flexing their muscle tonight against Rushville, so they'll be coming in 1-0, and they should be moving up in the Class A rankings. And after that, you've got South Dearborn, you've got Rushville, and then you've got that double-dip gauntlet weekend in September with East Central in Lawrenceburg. So nothing's going to come easy as a part of this process. Everything will have to be taken as a learning experience. The learning may have to quicken if you're looking for wins in the column here throughout 2025.
Yeah, you mentioned Jack Sorgi head off to Louisville.
Go to Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville, yes.
Louisville, Louisville.
Louisville, yes.
Depending on where you're listening from, you all pronounce it a different way.
That's right. And again, if you try to stop me or Rob, say, how do you pronounce the capital of Louisville? We always say Frankfurt.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
All right, so with that, we're waiting, and we're going to have be hearing from Coach Evan Ulrey of the Batesville Bulldogs momentarily. And so with that, we have the 2 headsets. I'm going to go ahead and hand mine off and turn them over to Mr. Rob LaFerry here. So as soon as he comes over here, but he's
going to break some things down real quick with a few others.
That's right. Yeah.
But there we go. Now we are ready to go.
He's on his way here. He's got to get a Gatorade. Looks like he's got it. And with that, we'll turn it over to Rob and give it over to Mr. Rob LaFerry with the comments of Batesville Bulldog head coach Evan Ulrey.
Coach Ulrey joining us as a part of our WRBI post-game final score again tonight. If you're just joining us, Triton Central 11, Batesville 10. And Coach, Tom and I got baseball score. It does sound a little bit like a baseball score. Maybe there you go. At least we would cut down on that playoff chase a little bit. But no, Coach, Tom and I just got done talking. Obviously frustration for anyone because it is a loss. But I think at the end of the day, the more you and I have talked this week and understanding this process, I think eventually in the grand scheme, this will be a loss, but more so this will be a learning experience tonight.
Yeah, you worded that really well, probably better than I do. So, no, I think that was kind of the message. And I told him, I said, I'm a competitor, and I'm burning on the inside that, this game kind of let slip. I look at a couple things, internally to myself. I'm sure the guys are like, man, this tackle, obviously the 2-point conversion right before go to half. And it's little things here and there, and you go back and this play, that play, and that's the game. Hey, and we told you, and everyone's talked. I said, what do you think? 2 evenly matched teams can't get much evenly matched, and usually the defenses are a little ahead of the offenses around this time, and it showed, right? And I like I told him, I said, I'm not going to sit here and scream and yell at you and be all mad that we lost. I mean, I hate that we're 0-1. We've been 1-0 to start the year here for the last few years, and it's a good feeling. But I also told him, I said, you know what? If we were 1-0 tonight, I'd be still demanding the same things I'd be telling you tomorrow morning. That we got to get better in certain things. So ultimately, in the end, it's a blemish on the loss record, but it is a process. And I think if anything, as I told them, I said, you just got to go back to last year, and a lot of these guys kind of saw it being modeled by some guys, or some of them went through it. Ultimately in the end, it's to get to October and be playing your best football and learn from it. So like tonight, did we have certain situations that we didn't execute as well? Yes. So next week when we play with Milan, we better be better. Whether that's on me, preparation or whether our execution has got to be better. So that way we're where we need to be moving forward. But, yeah, it sucks, I mean, to be 0-1 and lose to, to Triton Central, is a really good football team. I don't think it's a bad loss, but, just frustrating, but I'm trying to stay positive, right?
I think one of the things that you take a look at in terms of talking about those situations is, even go to late in the game. You got to get downfield with 50 seconds left. It's one thing for these guys to see, a Will do it and Damian do it because they did it time and time again. Quite different when it's now all of a sudden you on the field having to be in that situation.
Yeah, it's just the orchestrational piece, and I think sometimes you take, maybe take some things for granted. We didn't practice certain situations maybe as much, and that's not, I think, just simply being aware of like clock management, or, make sure we know when to kill it, utilizing, the boundaries, or making sure, we're getting in, whether we're trying to milk the clock, staying in bounds, or getting out of the clock, just being, I think football aware, and some of that is just you get seasoned as time goes, and sometimes it just naturally happens. And, we had some guys that were pretty seasoned the last couple of years that they were very football, seasoned and high football IQs. And that's not saying that we don't have guys with high football IQs, but like you said, it's one thing to know it, but it's another thing to execute it in pressure situations. So that's the thing with this type of game, and why I told you on Monday I was excited about this game. I tell people I was excited to have Triton Central on the schedule. It's like you don't get a false reality, right? We knew we had some areas we need to get better at, but we also know, hey, this is going to probably put us in some situations where we're going to have to work, 2-minute. We're going to have to work 4-minute drill, like you're trying to get first downs and get out of it. You're going to have to find ways to execute timely and make a big kick. You're going to have to, or find a way to get a, block kick, or try to keep them out of the red zone late, and all those little things. All those things check the box tonight, right? A lot of situational games that sometimes if you just play a cupcake week one, you're not really getting that. So we got better. We're a little more seasoned, and it's just our job to continue to demand more, and our leaders demand more, and be better week 2, and that's it. Yeah.
Silver lining tonight, you just mentioned, I thought, as the game progressed, guys got better. I thought the offense looked a little bit more comfortable as the game went on. Brady knocking down a big 44-yard field goal as a bonus. Then defensively, we had some different guys step up, and some guys you talked about on Monday where, an Aiden Grivey, it comes in and gets us some hits. Preston Blessing gave you some of those snaps again tonight. I thought Gage Lancaster stepped in and made some plays. So there's those juniors. There's that big sophomore class. It's going to piece itself together, and I think tonight for fans here or listening, watching, whatever the case may be, they got a chance to see that.
Yeah, and I think you saw Series 1 where we were I think a little juiced up. I think we were getting a little out of gap, and we knew pretty solidly like what they want to do running game, and honestly they as in Triton Central started attacking that weak side, doing a couple things that are lower percentage of what they do, and then we just made a little tweak. I thought our D-line and linebackers kind of settled in. I think we're finishing better, we're fitting in better after that first series. I think early we were they were running underneath us, right? We were just getting out of lanes, or just overdoing it. And we settled in. Small got a big interception down around in the end zone, and I thought after that point we settled in. We got fortunate a couple of times where they got behind us or turned around, and those were the little things where, hey, we play a certain coverage, but also know the situation. And I think, Gage got so much better as the game went, and Max Meyer on the back end, I thought, played solid for his first game. Trenton Jordan really, being out back there, orchestrating it on the back end. I thought Ethan Schneider really was solid for us. Eli Denny came in, a little bit there on the back end of the second quarter, and I told you him and Gage were going to battle it out. And, we have options. Isaac Limmel came in when we went to our nickel package at times, and for the most part, did pretty solid. So a lot of guys that, like we said, we were trying to see what we were going to get. We had a little bit of a taste last week when you play East Central to scrimmage, and I thought some guys really answered the call. But, as we always say is we just got to continue to get better and build off that, because what tonight is not going to be enough next week, because we always know Milan's going to come in here, hair on fire, and trying to snatch that bell out of our hands. So we just got to get to bed, get to work, and find a way. Find a way next week to get in the win column.
Another week to learn, another week to prepare. Coach will be here for the Milan game on Friday night. Obviously, I'll talk to you on Monday night for Coach's Corner. We'll break that one down a little bit more. But, again, week 1 is in the books, and now we look forward to week 2.
All right, I appreciate it. And great crowd tonight. It's nice to have Friday night lights back, and sucks to get the loss, but just happy our guys competed well tonight, and we'll continue to get better.
Batesville head coach Evan Ulrey joining us as a part of the post-game show. We'll take one more time out and say our farewells on this Friday night. You're listening to high school football week number 1 here on WRBI TV and the WRBI app.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
Fleetwood Chevrolet at 950 North Michigan Avenue in Greensburg invites you to visit them. They're here to help you with your next new or pre-owned vehicle purchase, as well as all your service and parts needs. They're the home of Greensburg's only drive-in service lane and free oil changes for life with the purchase of a new vehicle. Give them an opportunity to earn your business at Fleetwood Chevrolet.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
Cool off with hot internet savings from Great Plains Communications. We know summers are blazing, but your internet bill doesn't have to be. Take advantage of our unbeatable prices on fast, reliable internet powered by our expanding fiber network. Whether you're streaming, gaming, or working from home, our local teams are here to bring you unmatched service and support because we live and work right here in your community. Lock in your hot internet savings today from your trusted provider, Great Plains Communications. Visit gpcom.com today.
It's back. Our delicious chicken bruschetta pizza is back. Cecil here. I'm interrupting this commercial for some important news. Our operating hours are changing to better serve our customers and to better take care of our team members. We will be closing at 8 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. That's right, our new hours are Sunday through Thursday from 10:30 a.m. to 8 p.m., then Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Come let us serve you. LicensedFamilyPizza.com, 812-933-0333, or 117 East George Street, downtown Batesville.
The Batesville and Milan varsity football teams are joining forces to turn over hunger this football season. All donations will be granted to the Weekend Backsack program, which sends a backpack of food home with hungry students in Ripley County schools. Help turn over hunger and send your donation to the Ripley County Community Foundation, 13 East George Street, Suite B, Batesville, or donate online at rccfonline.org. That's rccfonline.org.
Your free source for local sports, WRBI.
Final time from the Dog Pound. Again, the final score tonight, Triton Central 11, Batesville 10. Rob, do you have anything as far as some other final scores around the area?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look at our final scoreboard update of the night. We do have 5 games that are final. Of course, our game tonight, Triton Central 11, Batesville 10. East Central, a big win over Lawrenceburg tonight, 39-12. Milan wins over Rushville 41-18. Other final scores, North Decatur defeats South Decatur 61-0. And Shelbyville is a winner over Coach Sliger and Greensburg 34-14. Game still in progress. South Dearborn leading Jennings County 27-6. Connorsville on top of Richmond 27-7. And so last thing we had from Franklin County and Newcastle was Newcastle leading the Wildcats 13-0.
All right, so again, if you don't catch them on the air, catch them online on WRBIRadio.com. And, of course, we'll also run those down during the sports reports tomorrow morning and at noon as well. So, again, Week 1 is in the books. We now move on to Week 2 for the Triton Central Tigers. Again, we mentioned they'll open at home against the Hamilton Heights team. And for the Batesville Bulldogs, they'll be back here at the Dog Pound and take on Ryan Langferman and the Milan Indians in the Ripley County Victory Bell game. We'll have that game on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app as well. I'd like to thank some folks, and of course they include Batesville head coach Evan Ulrey and also head coach Tim Abel of the Triton Central Tigers, the staff and crew here at Batesville High School as well. Annie Nunley, our on-site engineer, even though she shakes her head, say, don't do that, don't do it, but I did it anyway. And, of course, my tag team partner tonight, Rob LaFerry. Appreciate his efforts and insights. And, of course, a big thank you to our sponsors of high school football and WRBI. They are Whitewater Motors, Hurt & Elko, the Ripley County Community Foundation, Batesville Dental, Decatur County Memorial Hospital, Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Bruns Gutzweiler, Ivy Tech Community College, Garings, Vaguely Napa Auto, Ison's Family Pizza, Margaret Murray Health, Fleetwood Chevrolet, Great Plains Communications, and Assured Partners Insurance. Once again, the final score from the Dog Pound, Triton Central 11, Batesville 10. So until next week, for Rob LaFerry and everybody at WRBI, I'm Tom Sape saying good night, everybody.
Catch the replay of tonight's broadcast on demand, free of charge, anytime. Find it on our YouTube page, our Facebook page, and at WRBITV.com. From Southeastern Indiana's sports